Chapter 501. Sima Yoyue's tears fell uncontrollably when she heard Sima Yoyue calling out to her in a hoarse voice. On the other hand, Kong Sangyi's mouth was agape. His bright eyes were filled with disbelief. Even Wu Lingyu and the Fire Qilin were deeply shocked by the word sister. Sister. Shimin Feng shouted again when he saw Sima Yoyue getting closer and closer. This big sister also brought Kong Xiangyi's heart back. She pulled on Shimin Feng's sleeve and said, "Shimin Feng, is there something wrong with your head? She was a man. How could she be your sister? Isn't your sister already dead? Qin Mo said that he personally buried your sister." In the beginning, Shimin Feng was also very surprised, but when he saw Little Roar and heard him call her Yu, he was sure that the person in front of him was his sister. Moreover, her soul must have been reborn, or else her spirit contract beast would not have survived. Although he didn't know what was going on, he knew that she was his elder sister, the elder sister who had protected him since he was young. Sima Yoyue came to the front of Shimin Feng and reached out her hand to take off Shimin Feng's mask, but was caught by him. "Don't look." Sima Yoyue knew that there must be a reason why he did not want her to see it. She did not force him. She touched the mask and looked at the familiar eyes. She smiled and cried. Wu Lingyu glanced at the two of them and said to Kong Sangyi, who was stunned, "Let's go." Ah. Kong Sangyi was stunned for a moment, but then he understood what Wu Lingyu meant and followed him into the distance. "Hey, I say, are you really Wu Lingyu?" "Yes." "Not a fake?" "Yes." "That's impossible, right? If you're from the Sage Pavilion, why would you help us?" "Oh, I understand. That sister must have begged you." Sigh, he was a man, how could he be an older sister? How strange. The Kong Sangyi chattered as they walked away, their voices getting softer and softer. When they were far away, Sima Yoyue let go of Shimin Feng and said, "Feng, what's going on?" "It's a long story," Shimin Feng said. "Let's talk about it later," Sima Yoyue said as she took out a pill. "You were injured just now, take this pill first." Shimin Feng took the pill and ate it. He didn't say anything else. Sima Yoyue called Guang out again and got him to burn the corpses to get rid of the evidence. After that, she took Shimin Feng and left the place. She got Little Rock to bring them to a mountain peak. "Can I see you now?" Sima Yoyue asked. "No." Shimin Feng still subconsciously refused. "No matter what you become, you're still my brother," Sima Yoyue said. "I don't want to scare you." Shimin Feng was a little reluctant. "I've seen your butt naked before, why would I be afraid of your current appearance?" Sima Yoyue said. "Sister." Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yoyue a little embarrassedly. "Sister, how did you become like this? You're a man now, calling you sister is a little awkward." Sima Yoyue smiled and turned the ring on her finger, turning back into a woman. "You." Shimin Feng's eyes widened. "Looks like sister is still a sister, I won't feel awkward like this." Sima Yoyue nodded. "Now it's time for me to see your face, Shimin Feng was still unwilling, but seeing Sima Yoyue's persistent eyes, he knew that she would definitely do what she set her mind on, so he could only let her take off the mask on his face. What kind of face was that? There was almost no part of his skin that was intact, and there were a lot of bumps and hollows, as if he had been bitten by something. Because he had been wearing a mask all these years, his face was a little pale. Although Sima Yoyue guessed that there must be something on his face, she did not expect his face to be like this. She was shocked and took a deep breath. Shimin Feng saw Sima Yoyue's reaction, and his eyes flashed with embarrassment. "I knew it would scare you." As he spoke, he reached out to take the mask, but Sima Yoyue hid it behind her back. "I was just a little shocked." Sima Yoyue looked at the wounds on his face, her heart aching. She did not know what he had been through and how much pain he had gone through. "Now that we have time, tell me what happened after that **** left. How did you survive all these years, and how did you get these wounds?" Seeing his flickering eyes, she glared at him. "You know my personality, and I know yours. Don't try to hide anything from me, or else I won't forgive you if I find out. Shimin Feng originally wanted to hide the truth, but after hearing her words, the words were stuck in his throat. He hesitated for a while before he told her his experience. After you left that day, I was injured by them not long after. I did not want to be dismembered after death, so I used the last of my strength to jump off the cliff. Sister, do you still remember the place where we separated? The place where we separated? Sima Yue thought for a while and was shocked. Heartbreak Valley. You actually fell into Heartbreak Valley? Shimin Feng nodded and continued. Heartbreak Valley is famous for poisonous insects in the central region. After I fell that day, I was lucky and fell into a pool. There was a poisonous beast living in the pool, but it was not there recently, so there were some unconscious poisonous insects around. When I woke up, my face was already like this, and I was in Kong Valley. Maybe it was because you had fed me a lot of good things, so it was compatible with the poison. So although I was poisoned, I did not die. You entered Heartbreak Valley and were bitten by poisonous insects, but you were not poisoned to death. This might be the reason why Kong Valley was willing to save you. Sima Yue said. That's right. Shimin Feng nodded. They told me that they went to Heartbreak Valley to look for 2 poisonous herbs. When they saw me and realized that I was not dead, they were curious and saved me. Then how did you get your strength? Sima Yue asked. According to your cultivation speed, it's impossible to reach your current strength. I really can't hide anything from you. Shimin Feng said. After I recovered, I stayed in Kong Valley and did not have much contact with others. I don't know why, but Kong Sangyi always liked to pester me, so I was targeted. One time when I went out, I fell into their trap and fell into a cave. Although I came out alive, a dark aura entered my body and I almost died. After I went back, with the help of the Valley Lord and the others, I spent a few years to control this aura. Sima Yue frowned and grabbed his hand to check his pulse. After a while, she looked at Shimin Feng's calm and helpless face in horror. Chapter 502. Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yue and said with a bitter smile, I knew I couldn't hide anything from you. Edited by Vicky. I won't let you see it, but you won't give up. The aura in your body is too strange, it has been eating away at the life force in your organs. Sima Yue said, according to the current speed, you have less than 5 years to live. Kong Valley's doctor said the same thing. Shimin Feng said. I knew that I didn't have much time left. After I successfully controlled that aura, I left the valley. I wanted to kill the people from the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace to avenge our loved ones. You killed a lot of people? Sima Yue asked. Not much. Back then, we didn't even kill 10% of the people who killed our loved ones. Shimin Feng said, blaming himself. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, even though that aura is in your body and is being suppressed by you for the time being, every time you use it, it will consume your life force and reduce your time. I understand, Shimin Feng said. The doctor has already explained it. It's good that you understand. Sima Yue said, from today onwards, you can't use that aura anymore. I will think of a way to seal it, and then find a solution to get rid of the source for you. Sister, I'm already used to this power. If I give up, then your life is more important than anything else. Sima Yue held his hand. We've already died once. Are we going to die again? We can take our revenge slowly. The longer we live, the better we can kill our enemies. Think about it, when we're strong, it'll be better for us to kill the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace for revenge. Or is it better for you to risk your life and capture a few of them? However, the people from the Kong Valley said that once it entered my body, it had already taken root and there was no way to remove it. Shimin Feng said. Don't you know my medical skills? Sima Yue said, furthermore, I've had some fortuitous encounters over the years. I've obtained quite a number of ancient medical books and my medical skills have improved a lot. Although we can't think of a way to eradicate it, we still have a way to temporarily contain it. After that, we'll think of a way to cure it. Alright then, Shimin Feng said helplessly. I knew that things would turn out like this after we met. That's why you refused to acknowledge me even though you recognized me last time. Humph, you made me sad for a long time. Sima Yue pouted and complained. Elder sister, don't be angry. I'm just thinking that I don't have many years left to live. If you recognize me and see me die, you'll be sad. But I don't want you to be sad, Simon Wind explained. Sigh, how can I not know what you're thinking? Sima Yue sighed. If I'm really mad at you, I won't chase you. However, I originally thought that you were using some sort of secret technique to increase your strength. I was worried that it would harm your body, so I chased after you. But I didn't expect that your current situation is even worse than what I imagined. Go to the latest update, elder sister is always so smart. Shimin Feng sighed. Otherwise, how can I be your elder sister? Fortunately, I chased after you. Otherwise, with how big the primordial lands is, and how you intentionally hid your tracks, it would really be difficult for me to find you. Sima Yue said in relief. Then what about you, elder sister? How did you end up in this state? Big brother Qin Mo said that he personally buried your corpse. How did you come back to life? Shimin Feng asked. Actually, I'm already dead. The current me is no longer the same as before. Sima Yue said. You're no longer the same as before? No wonder when we met for the first time, I felt that your eyes were very familiar. Yet, I didn't recognize your appearance. Then what's your current situation? Shimin Feng said. After I died in my previous life, my soul entered this body, and borrowed this body to come back to life. Sima Yue roughly explained her situation to Shimin Feng. After listening to her, Shimin Feng looked at her with a strange expression. If that's the case, then this body of yours is much younger than me. You should be calling me elder brother, and not me calling you elder sister. Sima Yue slapped him on the head. Elder sister is elder sister. Even though this body is 1,000 years younger than you, it's still elder sister. Ever since you came out of your mother's womb after me, you've never had the chance to become an elder brother. Humph. I grew up under your oppression. Now that you're finally younger than me, I'm still being oppressed by you. Using your old words, this is unscientific. Shimin Feng protested. Don't give me the unscientific words. This is a fact that can never be changed. Sima Yue said, oh right, that Kong Sangyi seems to treat you quite well. Are you going to take her in as my sister-in-law? Elder sister, what are you talking about? She's just a clingy little girl. Shimin Feng felt a little awkward when he mentioned Kong Sangyi. Little girl? Have you ever seen a little girl over 100 years old? Sima Yue dragged out her voice meaningfully. Do you really think that elder sister is an ignorant commoner from the lower continents? I've heard of this Kong Sangyi's reputation before. At that time, I thought that the people from the Kong Valley weren't good. But when I saw how she never left you, I was very satisfied. How can I be together with her in this state? Shimin Feng said. You don't have to worry about that. I can't get rid of the aura in your body, but the wounds on your face shouldn't be a problem. Sima Yue said confidently. I'll turn you back into the handsome young man you used to be. I guarantee that you'll charm thousands of young women. But, I'll definitely let you live to 100 years old. Sima Yue knew what he was going to say. I'm now a disciple of the Divine Devil Valley's second Valley Lord. You know him too. His alchemy skills are amazing. There are many such talents in the Divine Devil Valley. Even if I can't do it, I'll gather everyone together. There'll definitely be a way. So I'll definitely let you have a long time to fall in love. Actually, we came to the outer regions this time because we received news that the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace would be participating in the auction. Another reason is to look for the Heavenly Sex Vice Principal. I heard that his alchemy and medical skills are superb. Even compared to you, he's not at all inferior. I want him to show me his skills. But I heard that he rarely walks around outside now. That's great. Sima Yue said. My master also wants us to go to the sect to learn. When the time comes, we'll see if we can find him and ask him to take a look at you. Sima Yuyue said. All right. The siblings chatted for an entire day and night on the mountain peak. They told each other about their experiences over the years. But most of the time, Sima Yuyue talked about her experiences in the lower continents, as well as her current family. Compared to Shimin Feng, her experiences were much more exciting. It wasn't until the evening of the second day that Wu Lingyu and Kong Sangyi arrived at the mountain peak. Shimin Feng put on his mask again. Shimin Feng, if we don't go to Yu City now, we won't make it in time. Kong Sangyi stared at Shimin Feng, feeling wronged. Usually, he would only get a few words from him because he had worked hard for so many years. He didn't expect that he would actually chat with this sister for an entire day and night. The difference was too big. Heavily recommended, I Eat Tomatoes, Tomato, New Book. Chapter 503. Sima Yuyue saw the way Kong Xiangyi was acting and immediately laughed, saying, I lost track of time while chatting. Wu Lingyu had other thoughts when he saw Sima Yuyue's smile. Ever since she had advanced to the divine level, the things she had seen the most were her tears and forced smiles. She had never smiled so happily before. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look at Shimin Feng. Why did he call her sister? The more he thought about it, the more confused he became. No matter how smart he was, he would never have thought of such a thing as a soul being reborn. Sima Yuyue stood up from the ground, patted the dust on her butt and said, Feng, what are you going to Yu City for? Go find someone. Shimin Feng also stood up. Kong Valley has always been looking for ghost genius Imo-san. Recently, we received news that he came to the outer regions, so we sent people to search for his tracks. We just received news that he might go to Yu City in 2 days, so we want to try our luck and see if we can see him. Ghost genius third Mo. That guy is wanton and unrestrained. Why are you looking for him? Sima Yuyue asked, puzzled. There are some things that I need his help with. Shimin Feng said. Shimin Feng, why do you tell her everything? Kong Sangyi glared at Shimin Feng with dissatisfaction. I never hide my matters from big sister. Shimin Feng said. Forget it, if you go look for third Mo like this, he'll definitely ignore you. Otherwise, they will definitely demand an exorbitant price and rip you guys off, Sima Yuyue said confidently with her hands behind her back. You know him? Shimin Feng asked in surprise. Didn't I go to Mo Bay when I was 100 years old? Sima Yuyue said, I met him by chance and got to know him. I remember now. At that time, you said you met a friend, but he had a strange temperament. You called him something. Shameless third. You're not talking about third Mo, are you? Sima Yuyue nodded. That's good. We were worried that even if we found him, we might not be able to do it, but with your help, there won't be a problem. Shimin Feng said. When I was 100 years old? Kong Sangyi sized up Sima Yuyue. You look like your bone age is only around 20 years old. Where did you get 100 years old? Or do you have a way to hide your bone age? How about you teach me? Sima Yuyue smiled. I really can't teach you this method. She had died and was reborn. Moreover, even she did not know how she had been reborn. How could she teach others? Sima Yuyue said, Sima Yuyue, Sima Yuyue, S. Kong Xiangyi pursed her lips, saying, if you don't want to say it, then don't. Well, hurry, let's go. All right. Feng, Yuyue, it was. Was Feng Yuyue, Yuyue was looked, Yuyue, I didn't expect you to tame a phoenix. It's as you wished. Sima Yuyue smiled, no wonder we couldn't catch up with you all the way. Shimin Feng smiled and didn't say anything. The group followed. They flew through the night for another 2 days before stopping outside Yu City. Chirp chirp, a paper crane came out of Yu City and flew beside Kong Sangyi's ear for a while, then landed on her hand. She dispersed her spiritual power and it turned into a paper crane. Little Crane said that Third Mo has arrived in U City and is staying in the biggest inn in the city. Kong Sangi said to everyone. Then we'll stay there too. Sima Yuyue said, do you know why he came here? How long will he stay here? I don't know, but he said he will only stay here for 4 days. More than a day has passed, we still have more than 2 days. Kong Sangi said, time is a little tight, I think we should just look for him directly. Let's go and see what's going on. Sima Yuyue said. Okay. They entered the city and found the inn where Third Mo was staying and checked in. They asked for 4 rooms. When they asked the waiter said that Third Mo went out in the morning and only came back at night, so everyone went back to their rooms to rest. Feng, it's not suitable for me to see Third Mo like this. You guys go and try, maybe you'll succeed. Sima Yuyue said. Okay. I'll make some medicine for you later to heal your throat first. Sima Yuyue continued. You've been rushing for so long, rest first. My throat has been like this since I came out of Heartbreak Valley, I'm used to it after so many years. Shimin Feng said. I know. Sima Yuyue said, let's go, I'll show you my place. With that, she brought Shimin Feng into the spirit pagoda. The moment they disappeared, Wu Lingyu, who was cultivating in the next room, opened her eyes. Sister, this is the spirit pagoda? Shimin Feng was shocked when he saw the scenery in the spirit pagoda. Yes. Sima Yuyue smiled and nodded, there used to be a lot of people here, but today they're all guests at the Yin residence, so it's much quieter. I can see that there are traces of people living here. Shimin Feng said, it's hard to imagine that there's such a treasure in this world, such a good place. This was left to her by the father of this body, but she couldn't cultivate at that time, so she couldn't use it. Sima Yuyue felt pity for the original owner. This can be compared to those little realms, no, it's even better. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yuyue saw the curiosity in Shimin Feng's eyes and smiled, 1 day outside is equivalent to 10 days here. I'll go prepare the medicine, you have time to look around. With that, she went to the medicine room and asked Little Spirit to help her pick a few herbs from the fields. Then, she took some dried herbs and refined them one by one before starting to refine pills. 1 day later, she opened the door to the pill refining room and saw Shimin Feng wandering around the medicine field. Sister, are you done? Shimin Feng heard the movement and flew over. Sima Yuyue placed a bottle of pills in his hand and said, take 1 pill every 2 days. You still have things to do now, I'll bring you in later. Let's go out first. Okay. Sima Yuyue brought him out and let him go back, then she sat cross-legged on the bed to adjust her breathing. When she opened her eyes, it was already the next day. Hearing the voices outside, she got off the bed and walked out. She opened the door and leaned against the door to look at Kong Sangyi, who was pulling a long face. Shimin Feng was listening to her complain. Yuyue, you're right. That Third Mo is really stubborn. No matter what we say, he won't agree and even chased us out. Sima Yuyue looked at Shimin Feng, his eyes were also filled with helplessness. It seems that after all these years, his personality is still so weird. Sima Yuyue said with a smile, come in, I'll give you guys some advice. Chapter 504. At night, a man in white walked in from outside the inn. As soon as he entered, he saw Kong Sangyi guarding the door. Because he was in a bad mood today, when he saw her pestering him, he felt even worse. I already said that I don't have time. Don't look for me, Third Mo said as he walked upstairs. Third Master, I'm not here to talk to you tonight, Kong Sangyi said with a smile, looking at you, you must have encountered something unpleasant today. I'm waiting for you here because I heard that you like wine. Today, I went out and got a few jars of good wine. It's the best new Hong. Do you want to try it? Third Mo followed her gaze and saw a table in the corner filled with delicacies. There were also several jars of wine. One of the jars had already been opened, and the fragrance of the wine wafted into the air. It was intoxicating. The three men sat at the side and looked at him. No wonder he smelled the aroma of wine the moment he entered. So that was the reason. However, he quickly retracted his gaze and said indifferently, "I haven't drunk in a long time." After that, he walked around Kong Sang Yi and headed for the stairs. If he hadn't gotten drunk and slept for half a month, how could he have missed the time to save her? Ever since he saw her corpse, he had not touched a single drop of alcohol. He even hated it. Sima Yue saw that this trick was useless against him. She also saw the disgust and self-blame in his eyes. She did not know what was wrong with him. He had even abandoned a hobby that he had kept for hundreds of years. Thinking that he would leave tomorrow, she couldn't help but ask, "Shameless third, when did you quit all your lovers?" Third Mo was stunned. He stopped in his tracks and turned around to look at Sima Yue. His eyes were filled with shock. "What did you call me?" He held his breath, not knowing what answer he would get. Sima Yue raised a wine jar and threw it at him. "You once told me that this thing is the most intimate thing to you. It's your lover, and you'll probably spend the rest of your life with it. Why are you abandoning your lover now?" Third Mo hugged the wine jar. After the initial shock, he became alert. He saw Qin Mo bury her with his own eyes. How could she come back to life? However, he had only said those words to her. She was also the only one who spoke to him in such a tone. She was the only one who would call him shameless third. Sima Yu saw the complicated look in his eyes and sighed, saying, "I promised to make you a chicken banquet to go with your wine. Now that I've made it, why aren't you willing to do me the honor?" Third Mo walked towards her in a daze. He saw the smile in her eyes. Although she had changed, her gaze hadn't. It was the her he knew. He reached out to pinch her face, but she slapped his hand away. "You won't be able to pay for my fragile skin if you break it," she said, glaring at him. Why did these words sound so familiar? I remember now, you also wanted to pinch me at that time. We haven't seen each other for so many years. Why are you still like this? Hearing this, Third Mo's suspicious eyes were filled with ecstasy. She had said the same thing to him back then. If other people knew about what happened between them and asked them to imitate her, they wouldn't know what she had inadvertently said. He hugged Sima Yue and laughed, "You're still alive." I'm alive." Sima Yue nodded, "If you don't let go of me, I'll suffocate to death." She said, "Alive, not alive," but Third Mo didn't notice this. Third Mo let go of her and looked at her face. "Your disguise is pretty good. I didn't even recognize you. There's no trace of it at all. Where did you learn it? That's not right. I clearly saw Qin Mo bury your body. Could it be that he secretly dug you out to save you?" Sima Yue's lips twitched. "This is my current appearance." Thinking of Qin Mo, her heart felt sour. Memory restaurant. Memory restaurant, how did you become like this? Third Mo sat down beside her and asked. "I'll tell you later." Sima Yue smiled. "This is the chicken feast that I promised you. The wine is also the good wine that I specially prepared for you. If you don't give me face, I won't agree to it." "Alright, I know that you came looking for me because of this girl." Third Mo said. "I'll eat this meal. Let's forget about the wine." Shameless third, you really quit drinking? Sima Yue thought that he was just making excuses. Now, it seemed that he really didn't drink anymore. Third Mo nodded seriously. "When the Shiman family was in trouble, I was drunk and slept for half a month. When I woke up, I knew that you had sent me a message. When I rushed over, you were already. From then on, I stopped drinking." Sima Yue's heart ached. What he loved the most was wine. She understood his feelings towards wine the most. But because he couldn't save her, he quit drinking. She suddenly wanted to cry. Sniffling, she put away the wine and took out some white wine jugs. "This is my newly brewed fruit wine. It won't get you drunk." You can drink this in the future. Third Mo took it and smelled it. The fragrance of the spirit fruit was mixed with a faint wine fragrance. It was very different from the strong wine that he drank before. This is the fruit wine that you talked about before? There are many kinds of fruit wine. I made many kinds. You can try them all. Sima Yue poured a cup for him. Third Mo took it and tasted it. It's not as strong as ordinary wine. The fragrance of the spirit fruit and the wine are mixed together. It has a different flavor. Do you like it? Sima Yue asked. Not bad. Third Mo nodded. Even if I keep drinking this, I won't get drunk. I'll drink this in the future. Sima Yue saw that he liked it and smiled happily. Suddenly, she felt a resentful gaze. Turning her head, she saw Wu Lingyu looking at her with eyes full of complaints. Why was she so nice to the two people who suddenly appeared? This senior martial brother of his had been thrown aside by her. Sima Yue felt the cold air coming from his body. Taking the cup in front of him, she poured a cup for him and put it in front of him. Smiling, she said, Senior brother, you've been working hard recently. I haven't thanked you for saving my younger brother. Come, drink more. Wu Lingyu saw that Sima Yue was really happy. Even her smile towards him was more genuine. But this was because of someone else, not him. So he was still a little annoyed. Taking the cup of wine that Sima Yue poured for him, he drank it in one gulp. Then, he stood up and left. Third Mo looked at Wu Lingyu's back and smiled. This holy son of the sage pavilion has a big temper. But why do I smell something sour? They were all famous people in the inner regions. Third Mo naturally knew Wu Lingyu, but he had never interacted with him. It was Sima Yue's first time seeing Wu Lingyu like this. But thinking that he had suppressed it for such a long time, he was already considered to have a good temper. Shameless third, you're laughing at me. Be careful that I'll take care of you in the future. Xiang Yi, tell him what happened. I'll go out for a while. After speaking, she stood up and left. Chapter 505. When Sima Yue went out, she saw Wu Lingyu walking on the street. He did not open a spatial passage to leave, it seemed like he was waiting for her to come out. She chased after him and pulled on his sleeve, saying, What are you doing? Wu Lingyu glanced at her and did not say anything, continuing to walk forward. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. This guy was still being arrogant. I know what you're thinking. If you continue to be like this, I won't say anything. The figure in front of her paused. She snickered and went forward to grab his arm, saying, Let's find a place where no one can hear us. Wu Lingyu lowered his head to look at the jade hand on his arm. Seeing the teasing look in her eyes, most of the anger in his heart disappeared. He wrapped his arms around her waist, opened up a spatial passageway, and walked in, entering the little realm that he had refined. Sima Yue thought about the last time she came here. At that time, she had just recovered her memories and was on the verge of collapse. He brought her here to stay for a month to let her slowly calm down. Seeing that the rocking chair she slept in was still there, she walked over and sat down, curling up like last time. She thought about the way he looked at her at that time. At that time, he was probably wondering what was wrong with her. However, he did not ask anything and only gave her the peace she wanted. Moreover, after seeing her strange behavior for so long, he did not ask her about it. This was already good enough. She raised her head to look at a certain someone who was still angry. She smiled and lay down again, pointing at another rocking chair beside her. A certain someone sat down with a cold face. Senior, have you been to the southern wasteland? She asked. Twice. Wu Lingyu said. Then have you heard of the Shiman clan of the southern wasteland's 7 prefectures? Sima Yue asked. Shiman clan? The one that was exterminated by the Zongjin clan? Wu Lingyu felt that it was a bit familiar. Only later did he remember that he had heard them talk about it before. Sima Yue nodded, saying, At that time, the eldest daughter of the Shiman clan was called Shiman Yue. The eldest son was called Shiman Feng. Wu Lingyu wasn't too surprised. After all, he had already guessed her identity. Back then, Zhongzheng Han Yu and I were very good friends. We grew up together. Because I was a triple elemental spirit master and she was a double elemental spirit master, my halo gradually overshadowed hers and she slowly changed. Once, she gave me a rare spirit stone, saying that it was a birthday gift for me. Later, I found out that it was a type of spirit stone that could slowly emit poison. And because my family had inhaled this poison, when the Zhongzheng clan and Yin Yang Palace attacked us, we couldn't withstand a single blow. Then of course I'm dead. Sima Yue said, Zhongzheng Han Yu used the soul-locking lamp to scatter my soul, but I don't know why my soul didn't disappear, but was reborn in this body. But because my soul was injured, I didn't have those memories at first. When I advanced to the divine level, I regained my memories and recalled the past. Then when we met, you were already reborn. Wu Lingyu was very conflicted about this question. At that time, I had just been reborn for a few months. Wu Lingyu's heart relaxed, and his heart ached for her. After that, when he went to the 7 prefectures of the southern desolation, he passed by a burnt ruin, and heard the people around him say that it was the ruins of the Shiman clan. Just by looking at the ruins, he could imagine the scene at that time. And that year, she saw her own clan being engulfed in the fire with her own eyes. Seeing her relatives die tragically, he could imagine her heartache. No wonder she was like that after regaining her memories. He used to think about what happened to her that caused her to break down when she advanced to the divine level. He thought of a million possibilities, but he didn't think of this. Now he also understood why she was like that when she saw Shiman Feng. One escaped death, the other was reborn. They were very close brother and sister, and could be the only person in the clan. Naturally, it would be like that. Yin Yang Palace belongs to the Southern Desolation Branch Palace. Sima Yue glared at him. I just knew that there are no good people in the Sage Pavilion. This has nothing to do with me. Wu Lingyu said innocently, I'm from the Divine Devil Valley. But you're also the Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion. On the surface, you're also a member of the Sage Pavilion. Humph. She didn't think that the Yin Yang Palace was actually a subordinate of the Sage Pavilion. But thinking about the way the Sage Pavilion did things in the Southern Desolation, it was expected that there would be a power like the Yin Yang Palace. I might not be the Holy Son any time. Wu Lingyu shrugged. You didn't tell me clearly at that time. Why did the Pavilion Master want you to go to the Sage Pavilion to be the Crown Prince? You didn't tell me clearly either. She moved her body and turned sideways to face him. Don't try to scare me. I've already told you my secret. Sima Yue said before he could speak. Wu Lingyu thought about it and said, because my soul is incomplete. What does an incomplete soul have to do with that? Sima Yue didn't understand. That old fart's time is up. Because my soul is incomplete, I'm the best host for possession. Wu Lingyu said casually. Possession? Sima Yue sat up abruptly. Could it be someone like me? Should be. She looked at him from head to toe. Thinking about the soul of an old fart living in this body, she couldn't help but shiver. Speaking of which, I should be able to break the contract with Mo Sha now. You guys should merge sooner. That way, that old fart won't be able to do anything to you. Sima Yue said, speaking of which, Mo Sha hasn't come out for a long time. I don't know what he's doing in the bracelet. Maybe he's preparing to merge. Wu Lingyu guessed. I don't know. I tried to contact him, but he actually blocked our contract. That's why I can't contact him now. Sima Yue said curiously, since you can't contact him, then there's no way to break the contract for now. There's no rush. That old fart still has a few years. Wu Lingyu said, he's been in closed-door cultivation recently. If he succeeds in advancing, then he'll have a lot of time. Living in his own body is better than finding a new one. I'm just a spare tire for him. Of course, in order to make use of this spare tire, he spent a lot of good resources on me these past few years. That's why you're so strong. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. The last time I saw you save my brother, I didn't see your strength. Quick, tell me. It's fine if you didn't see it. You'll know in the future. Wu Lingyu said, keeping her in suspense. TSK, I won't tell you if you don't want to. She lay back down. What are your plans for this period of time? I don't have any plans. Anyway, that old fart is in closed-door cultivation and doesn't have time to find me. I'll just follow you for now. He smiled and said, also, who knows when Emo Shah will wake up. It'll be troublesome if you can't contact me then. Chapter 506. Sima Yuyue looked at him and waved her hand, saying, it's up to you. Anyway, with my current strength, I'm considered a weakling. With an expert like you by my side, I'll be safer. Wu Lingyu also laid down. The two of them lay there quietly for a while. After a while, he opened his eyes and found that Sima Yuyue was already asleep. Looking at her sleeping face, he was momentarily mesmerized. He knew that she rarely slept. Other than when she fainted at the teleportation array, she would cultivate and study whenever she had time. When she was tired, she would cultivate her soul to get rid of her fatigue. He knew that she was a very vigilant person. Now that she was sleeping peacefully beside him, it was because she subconsciously trusted him. Thinking of this, his lips curled into a charming smile. Sima Yuyue did not know how long she had slept, but when she opened her eyes, she saw a certain someone's charming smile. What are you thinking about? Why are you so happy? Sima Yuyue rubbed her eyes and asked in confusion. She felt that she was a little sleepy. It must have been a long time. She couldn't remember how long it had been since she had a good night's sleep. She didn't expect to fall asleep here today. Not long, only a day. Wu Lingyu sat up and said. One day. Sima Yuyue screamed, why did I sleep for so long? You've been too tired recently, Wu Lingyu said. Let's go out quickly. Feng, and the others must be worried. She quickly stood up and said anxiously. Don't worry, they won't be in a hurry. Isn't Third Mo busy today? Although Wu Lingyu said that, he still stood up, opened the little realm, and brought her out. Sister, where did you go? Seeing Sima Yuyue, Shimen Feng immediately came up and asked worriedly. She glared at Wu Lingyu as she spoke. Sima Yuyue smiled and patted his shoulder, saying, it's nothing, I just went to a place and was delayed for a while. How are things going with you? Third Master Mo has already agreed to help Kong Valley. Kong Sangyi said. Sima Yuyue did not see Third Mo and raised her eyebrows. Where is he? He said that he's here to appraise stones for a family here. Today is the last day and he'll be back in the evening, Kong Sangyi said. Although Rascal 3 is good in all areas, he's the best at judging mountains and stones. Sima Yuyue said, you're looking for him for this? Kong Sangyi did not hide it from her anymore and said, yes, we found a mine a few days ago, but we don't know where to start, so we wanted to ask Third Master Mo to take a look. Sima Yuyue didn't understand it in the past, but now she understood. There were many strange spiritual stones under the mine. Because the mine had been buried underground for many years, all kinds of spiritual energy formed in the mountain and gradually formed a force. This force was closely related to the spiritual stones in the mountain. If the force didn't spread out along the terrain when the mine started, it would be chaotic in the mountain and cause trouble for mining. It might even kill people. Therefore, once a mine was discovered, everyone would ask a spirit seeker to find the right place to mine and release the power. Is there a problem with your mine? She asked. Every power had their own mine. This Kong Valley's position in the inner regions was not low, so naturally, they had their own mine. No, the mine was fine in the past. Kong Sangyi said, but we recently found a mine. Our spirit seeker said that there would be many rare spiritual stones in the mine. That's not bad. Sima Yuyue understood the importance of discovering a mine, especially one that could produce rare spiritual stones. When we found this mine, the valley was naturally very happy. But our spirit seeker's words made everyone worried. He said that for some reason, the terrain of the mine was very different from other mines. He said that the force inside was too complicated and could not be opened casually. Otherwise, the entire mine would be destroyed. Shimin Feng and I only received this news when we reached the outer regions. We also found out that Third Master Mo was also in the outer regions. We thought of a way to find him and asked him to help us take a look. Speaking up to this point, she went forward to hold Sima Yoyue's hand and said with a smile, "We really have to thank you this time. If it wasn't for you, we would have made a wasted trip." She already knew that Sima Yuyue was a girl, so naturally, she did not avoid this topic. "I haven't properly thanked you for saving Feng. This is nothing. Also, with Shameless Third's personality, I'm afraid he won't help you for free," Sima Yuyue said with a smile. "We naturally need to pay him for his help. But if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even have this chance," Kong Sangyi said. Sima Yuyue did not continue to chat with her and changed the topic. "Then are you guys going back?" Kong Sangyi looked at Shimin Feng and shook her head. "We're not going back. Third Master Mo said that he won't have time these few months. He will go after some time. When the time comes, there will be people from the valley coming to pick him up." Sima Yuyue understood that Shimin Feng was definitely not willing to go back, so she also did not want to go back. She really had deep feelings for this brother of hers. Although her reputation wasn't good before, she had a straightforward personality and she liked her. This time, Third Master Mo came back late at night. The moment he came back, he told Sima Yuyue that there was something good in the auction at Xianyuan Pavilion and that they must go. Although Sima Yuyue had already decided to go to the auction, she was still very curious about the good stuff that could attract Third Master Mo. Third Master Mo smiled mysteriously and said, "It said that there is a piece of ore from the ancient times." "Ore from the ancient times?" Several people gasped. "Isn't this the ancient times? It's even further back. The things left behind at that time are probably not ordinary." "Yes, that's why I said that this auction is worth going." Third Master Mo smiled and said, "We originally planned to go to the auction. Now it's a good time to go together." Sima Yuyue replied. "Then it's decided. Yuyue, give me some of that fruit wine. You only gave me 1 jar last night. I don't even want to drink any more today. Didn't you say that you quit?" She teased. "I won't drink that kind of strong alcohol anymore, but this kind of fruit wine is not bad. I can drink it." Third Master Mo smiled and said, "Look at you, no matter how much I give you, it won't be enough for you to drink." Although she scolded him, Sima Yuyue still took out a lot of wine for him. Ever since she recovered her memories, she remembered this old friend of hers. At that time, she started to let Little Spirit brew a large amount of fruit wine. Since Little Spirit and the others were bored inside, she might as well find something for them to do. After this period of time, there were actually countless bottles of wine in the Spirit Pagoda. They once asked her why she brewed so much wine. In the past, it was just enough for everyone to drink. Now, this amount was far beyond what they could drink. Chapter 507. Since Third Mo had settled his matters here, Sima Yuyue and the rest planned to head to Feng City where the Xianyuan Pavilion was holding the auction. Feng City was in the northwest direction of Yu City. It was right between Autumn Moon City and Feng City, so she thought of a way to inform Bei Gong Tang and the others that she was safe before setting off for Feng City. Sima Yuyue and Shimin Feng were dizzy from using the teleportation array. However, the distance from here to Feng City was very far. It would take at least 3 to 5 years. Therefore, they could only use the teleportation array. But luckily, the clan that Third Mo helped was a prominent clan here and managed the teleportation array. She went to research the teleportation array to Feng City and found out the coordinates of Feng City. She and Third Mo spent over 10 days to set up such a long-distance teleportation array. Wu Lingyu said that she would open up a spatial tunnel to bring them over. However, Sima Yuyue thought that she had nothing to do recently, so she could use this to practice. She had never set up such a long-distance teleportation array before, so she wanted to give it a try. I didn't expect you to learn so many things after your rebirth. Third Mo already knew about Sima Yoyue's rebirth. He also knew that she knew how to tame beasts and array formations. I do know more than before. I was interested in alchemy in the past. Now that I have a chance to start over, and I have a blood feud, the more I know, the better. Sima Yuyue said. I was worried that you would bite off more than you can chew when I heard that you knew how to do these things. I didn't expect you to do everything so well. Third Mo said, Say, if someone like you becomes famous in the continent, I'll just give up my title of Ghost Genius to you. Alright, I only know a little. Since I've been with you recently, why don't you give me some pointers? She said with a smile. Sure. Third Mo agreed readily. He was originally on good terms with Sima Yuyue and saw her as a close friend. The last time he was unable to save her because he was drunk, he had always regretted it. Now that she had been reborn, he naturally wanted to make up for the guilt in his heart. After the teleportation portal was set up, Kong Sangyi was amazed and exclaimed that Sima Yuyue was even more talented than a ghost. Aren't we together with Rascal 3? Most of the time, he's the one doing it. I'm just helping him from the side. Sima Yuyue said. It's such a long-distance teleportation array. Are the two of you really accurate? Could it have teleported us somewhere else? Wu Lingyu frowned. Ahem. Sima Yuyue coughed unnaturally. Although we know the coordinates, Rascal San said that the distance is too far, so there might be some deviation. However, it won't be too far off. Big sister, is there really no problem with your transfer array? Shiman Feng asked somewhat fearfully. No, trust me. Sima Yuyue patted Shiman Feng's shoulder. How can I joke about everyone's lives? Besides, even if you don't trust me, don't you trust Shameless 3? It can't be worse than those teleportation arrays, right? I don't think so. Sima Yuyue said uncertainly. The teleportation arrays that she set up usually didn't cause people to feel dizzy. However, she had never tried such a long-distance teleportation before. She didn't know how effective it would be. Feeling uneasy, the few of them stepped into the teleportation array. After Sima Yuyue activated the teleportation array, the few of them quickly disappeared from their original spot. The teleportation array also turned into ashes after they disappeared. Hundreds of thousands of miles away from Feng City, a group of people were running wildly. They escaped from the mountains to the plains and kept running towards Feng City. The people on the spirit beast's back were running wildly on the plains. The people on the spirit beast's back kept looking back. When they saw the people chasing them from the mountains, their expressions changed. Little young master, little miss, we will try to delay those people in a while. You just have to keep running forward. Don't look back. Just wait for reinforcements. A middle-aged man said to his master. They have so many people. What's the point of you staying? We've already lost so many people. If you go back, it'll be a waste. The lady who was protected in the middle said. To be able to die for little miss and little young master, our deaths are worth it. As long as you are safe, those people didn't die in vain. The middle-aged man said. That's right. The others agreed. You just have to keep moving forward. The middle-aged man glanced at the others. The group of people flew up from the spirit beast's back and waited in the air for those people. Uncle Zhong. The lady shouted. However, the spirit beast carried them further and further away. Big sister, we'll die if we go back now. We can't let them die in vain. The young man said. Jun Hui, if I see him, I'll definitely kill him. The lady clenched her fists and looked at the people in the air with tears in her eyes. Seeing that the people chasing them were getting closer and closer, both sides started fighting. Soon, half of the people on this side were killed. Only 3 to 5 people were left. The other people saw that there weren't many of them. They went around them and chased after the siblings. "Big sister, I'll go stop them." The young man stood up and said, "You're silly. I'm stronger than you. I'll go." "Big sister, father and mother have always thought highly of you. You're strong, unlike me. You have to live. No, you're the only male in our family. You'll definitely take up the responsibility of the family in the future. If you can survive today, you must kick Jun Hui and his branch out of the Jun family forever. Only then will you be able to live up to the people who died today. Do you remember? Ha ha ha, you siblings should stop fighting. Today, none of you can leave." Arrogant laughter came from behind. Those people quickly caught up to them and landed on the ground, surrounding them. Seeing the murderous looks on their faces, the siblings' hearts sank. It looked like their chances of surviving today were not high. On the other side, the guards were all taken care of. The remaining people also caught up and surrounded them. In a while, find a chance to escape from their encirclement. I'll self-destruct and kill some of them. It'll delay them," the lady said resolutely. "Big sister." The man's eyes widened in shock. Seeing that she had made up her mind, his eyes were filled with pain. "Don't give her a chance to self-destruct. Hurry up and do it," a man shouted. When the lady heard that, she quickly mobilized the spiritual energy in her body and prepared to self-destruct. However, she was knocked off the spirit beast and fell to the ground. She clutched her chest and spat out a mouthful of blood. "Big sister." The man jumped down and supported the lady. He glared at the group of people hatefully. Were they really going to die here today? At this moment, a passage suddenly opened in the air. 2 people fell from it. 3 people came out from behind and quickly supported the 2 people. The sudden appearance of the people on the ground interrupted the actions of the people on the ground. They raised their heads and looked at them. Seeing that Wu Lingyu supported Sima Yuyue to the ground, the man subconsciously called out, "Yuyue." Chapter 508. Sima Yuyue heard someone calling her name and looked at them. She was surprised when she recognized them. "Jun Lan, Jun Tian, why are you here?" Shimen Feng looked at Jun Lan and Jun Tian and asked, "Sister, do you know them?" Sima Yuyue nodded. "Sort of." Jun Lan didn't know Sima Yuyue. When they met at the Xianyuan pavilion, Sima Yuyue was completely covered in a cloak, so she couldn't recognize her at all. However, Jun Lan had spent a few days with Sima Yuyue on Forgotten Worry Island. When the people chasing them saw that Sima Yuyue and Jun Lan knew each other, they said, "This matter cannot be spread. Kill them all." "Yes. Run." Jun Lan clutched her chest and shouted at them. "Originally, it had nothing to do with you, but you were unlucky enough to see it. Don't leave a single one alive. Kill them all," the leader ordered. What arrogance. Not many people in the primordial lands dare to say that they will kill me. Third Mo laughed evilly. "I hate it when people point a knife at me." Kong Sangyi looked at those people, took out a bell, and shook it twice. Kong Valley's people. Seeing the bell in Kong Sangyi's hand, those people immediately recognized him. "You do have some knowledge." Kong Sangyi did not deny it. Recognizing Kong Sangyi's identity, those people's faces became somewhat ugly. However, they had no choice but to fire now. Even if they knew that they were from ancient Kongming, they could not let them leave. Charge. Besides Sima Yuyue, the other 4 went over. Each of them was assigned a few people, and it didn't take long for them to settle everything. Sima Yuyue came to Jun Lan and Jun Tian's side. Seeing the dazed Jun Tian, she reminded, "Aren't you going to feed your sister the pill?" "Oh." Only then did Jun Tian remember to give Jun Lan a pill and said, "Why are you here? When did you come up?" "A few months." Sima Yuyue frowned when she saw the pill that Jun Tian took out. Seeing that he was about to feed it to Junlan, she grabbed his hand. What's wrong? The siblings looked at her in confusion. This pill doesn't smell right. Sima Yu took the pill from Jun Tian's hand and sniffed it carefully. Then, she threw it on the ground. There are 2 herbs inside. Once you take it, not only will it not save you, it will also take your life. What? The siblings were shocked. It must have been planned long ago. Jun Tian said hatefully. Sima Yue took out a pill and handed it to Junlan, saying, no matter which of you siblings is injured, as long as you take this pill, even if it didn't kill you, this pill will take your life. Luckily, Junlan, you're lucky to have met us. You know me? Junlan looked at Sima Yue in surprise. She didn't remember such a person. Sis, she's the one I told you about before. Sima Yue from the Yi-Lin continent's Sima family. Jun Tian said. Sima Yue smiled. We've met before. We've met before? Not only was Junlan surprised, Jun Tian also looked at her in surprise. You gave me a blue card at the West Moon Kingdom's auction. Sima Yue said. You're that mysterious person? Junlan said in surprise. Sima Yue nodded. I didn't expect that person to be you. Junlan smiled. Aren't you the people in charge of the Yi-Lin continent's Xianyuan pavilion? Why are you here? She asked curiously. We're originally from the primordial lands. We were sent down to train when we were young. Junlan felt much better after eating Sima Yue's pill. Speaking of which, us siblings came back early because of you. Because of me? Sima Yue didn't understand. That's right. Jun Tian patted Sima Yue's shoulder and said, back then, elder sister obtained the 100 Revolutions pills recipe from the mysterious person. That was a huge contribution to the clan. Because of that, we finished our training early and were summoned back. Since you're that mysterious person, then it's naturally because of you. So they left the Yi-Lin continent not long after that. No wonder she didn't hear any news about them for the next few years. While they were talking, Wu Lingyu and the others had already finished taking care of everyone. Seeing that Sima Yue was chatting happily with them, they left 2 alive. Elder sister, we're done. Shimen Feng walked over. Sima Yue stood up. Jun Tian also helped Junlan up. Thank you all for saving our lives today. Jun Tian said gratefully. If they hadn't happened to pass by, the siblings would have died here today. You're Yue's friends. Saving you isn't a big deal. Kong Sangyi said. We left 2 alive. Do you want to ask them anything? Shimen Feng asked. We know who sent them. But with just them, we can't deal with those people. Junlan said, why don't we kill them to vent our anger? I'll kill them and take revenge for Uncle Zhong and the others. Jun Tian let go of Junlan and walked over, killing the 2 people. Junlan looked at the corpses on the ground and hatred flashed in her eyes. But she quickly concealed it and asked Sima Yue and the others, Miss Kong, why are you here? We went to attend the Xianyuan Pavilion's auction. The teleportation array sent us here. Kong Sangyi said, do you know which direction is Feng City? You're going to attend the auction in Feng City, right? Jun Tian said after he came back, it's still some distance from here. But flying beasts can reach in a few days. You're going to attend the auction too? Kong Sangyi asked. If I'm not wrong, they're going to host the auction. Sima Yue said. You're from the Jun family? Junlan nodded, saying, that's right. I'm Junlan. My brother is called Jun Tian. We were going to host the auction in Feng City, but we didn't expect to be intercepted on the way. What a coincidence. Kong Sangyi sighed. Since we're all going to Feng City, let's go together. Sima Yue said. So everyone called out their flying beasts and sat on them. Sima Yue and Shimen Feng were still a little dizzy from the teleportation array. They closed their eyes and rested on the flying beasts. A few days later, Sima Yuyue and the others arrived at Feng City, the second largest city in the central region. Before entering the city, the Jun family found Jun Lan and the others. So the group parted at the city gate. Before leaving, Jun Lan and the others gave Sima Yuyue an invitation card, saying that it was for special guests. Sima Yuyue accepted it without hesitation. It just so happened that they didn't have an invitation card before. Only with this could they attend the auction. Also, the Jun family arranged a place for them to stay. It just so happened that it was a chain inn of memory restaurant. Sima Yuyue thought about it and agreed. The person who led the way said that he would send someone to bring them the list of auction items. So when Sima Yuyue heard the knock on the door, she thought that it was the list. When she saw the person standing at the door, she was stunned. Chapter 509. The person outside was still so handsome, but he was not as bright as before. There was no smile on his face, and there was more sadness. His entire person was also much colder. She did not know what to say when she saw the other party staring at her. Admit it? Or not? You really came back, Qin Mo said without waiting for her to deny it. Don't deny it, Yuyue. I can recognize your eyes immediately. Hearing what he said, Sima Yuyue sighed and turned sideways to let him in. Then, she closed the door and turned to look at him. How did you know it was me? The watermark symbol you left behind in innumerable green city. Only the two of us know what that symbol means. No one else will know. Qin Mo looked at Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue recalled that she was indeed at Memory Restaurant in innumerable green city. She had used tea to draw something on the table. She didn't expect him to know. Aren't you afraid that you've got the wrong person? She shrugged. This brat had always been meticulous. When I saw your image, I was a little uncertain. But when I heard that third Mo was with you, I was sure that it was you. Qin Mo was a little uncomfortable. She was back, but he was not the first person to acknowledge her. How did you know I was here? Are you also here to participate in this auction? She walked over and sat beside him, pouring him a cup of tea. When the people from innumerable Azure City sent news of you, I was in seclusion. When I came out of seclusion and heard about you, I rushed over to innumerable Azure City. However, you had already left. Later on, I was delayed by some matters. Then, I received news that you were here. Qin Mo took a sip of tea and replied. Sima Yuyue knew that he would definitely come to meet her after hearing her news, but she did not expect him to be so anxious. Have you been well all these years? She asked. Not bad. Qin Mo did not go into detail about what had happened to him over the years, but Sima Yuyue could tell at a glance that he had not been living well. At the very least, he was not happy. Sima Yuyue felt sorry for him when she saw the cold air that he unconsciously emitted. It was very different from the person she used to know. She smiled and said, Do you know that I once indirectly killed someone in the underworld? She had the same name as you, but she was a woman. Qin Mo saw the smile in her eyes and knew that she was laughing at someone who had the same name as him. He unconsciously rolled his eyes at her like before. He knew the person she was talking about. She was a concubine in the Yilan continent. While he was in seclusion, his people had already found out about her past. However, the thought of a woman sharing the same name as him made him a little uncomfortable. But at that time, my soul was damaged and I couldn't remember what happened before I died. So at that time, I didn't know that you two had the same name. If I knew at that time, I might have spared her life. She teased. Qin Mo saw that she was making fun of him and reached out to flick her forehead. Are you done laughing? No. Sima Yuyue smiled. She only stopped when she saw Qin Mo's face turn black. Didn't you say that your personality is different from before? Why didn't I notice anything different? You're still the same as before. Qin Mo looked at her helplessly. Sima Yuyue's eyes flashed with sadness. I'm happy to see you old friends. Qin Mo kept looking at her and naturally saw the sadness in her eyes. He comforted her, "These years, I've controlled a lot of the clan's power. If you're willing, we can destroy the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace anytime to avenge your family." Sima Yuyue shook her head and said, "It's not the time yet. The Sage Pavilion is above the Yin Yang Palace. If we destroy the Yin Yang Palace, the Sage Pavilion will definitely not sit by and do nothing. Feng, and I are still not strong enough. We still have to plan for revenge. Also, in the next few years, I have to heal Feng's body. The last time I saw him, I also noticed that his body was a little strange. However, he didn't let my people check on him. In the end, it was left unsettled." "What happened to him?" Sima Yuyue told him about Shiman Feng's situation. After hearing it, his beautiful eyebrows furrowed. "I'll get people to think of a way," Qin Mo said. "Okay." Sima Yuyue did not reject. It was related to Shiman Feng's life. Even if it was a favor, she was willing to owe it. Moreover, she owed it to him. "We want to go to the heavenly sect and try looking for the principal. Help me keep an eye out for him. With Feng's current situation, I don't dare to say that I'm sorry to trouble you. If you really say it, I'll be angry," Qin Mo said. "Okay." Sima Yuyue smiled and did not talk about it. "Your power has increased a lot these years. At least by one level. I had some good luck before, so I increased a lot," Qin Mo said. Dong dong dong, the knocking on the door interrupted their conversation. Sima Yuyue got up to open the door and saw Wu Lingyu standing outside. Without waiting for her to speak, he waved a list in his hand and said, "The Xian Yuan Pavilion sent the list of auction items. I happened to be downstairs, so I brought it up." Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at him in her heart. She turned sideways and invited him in, introducing, "This is my senior, Wu Lingyu, the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. This is Qin Mo, my good friend. The great young master of the Southern Desolation Qin clan. I've heard a lot about you." Wu Lingyu walked over and sat in the seat before Sima Yuyue. The Qin clan's Qin Mo was not a famous person in the past. Many people knew about him because he opened many gourmet restaurants. However, his reputation was only famous among those who loved to eat. But in the recent years, news of him had been spreading. From an idle young master, he gradually became a young master with real power in the Qin clan. His name spread throughout the Southern Desolation and even spread to other places. "I've heard of the Holy Sun's name for a long time. I've always wanted to see your elegance. I didn't expect to meet you here." Qin Mo glanced at Wu Lingyu. His eyes did not have the eagerness in his words. One was the famous holy son of the primordial lands, while the other was the rising star of the Southern Desolation. The first time the two met, there was a faint smell of gunpowder. Sima Yuyue did not notice the subtle relationship between the two. At that moment, she was attracted by the items on the auction. "What good things have you taken a fancy to?" Wu Lingyu asked. Sima Yuyue nodded and pointed to a medicinal ingredient on the list. "In order to suppress the power in Feng's body, I need many medicinal ingredients. I have most of them, but there are some that I lack. This edged jade is one of the main ingredients that I lack. Then we'll just bid for it when the time comes," Qin Mo said. "This thing only appears once in 10,000 years. I was worried about it before, but I didn't expect it to be here." Sima Yuyue said happily, "No matter what, I must bid for this thing." Chapter 5:10. Since she had taken a fancy to it, no matter what, they would bid for it for her. The two men thought at the same time. "See if there's anything else you want," Qin Mo reminded. "Yes." Sima Yuyue nodded and lowered her head to continue reading. Both of them did not look at the name list but stared at her. Seeing that her eyes were getting brighter, they knew that she had found something good. However, when she raised her head, her expression was somewhat solemn. "What's wrong?" Wu Lingyu asked. Sima Yuyue put down the list and said, I found a few things that I need. However, there are a few types that are more troublesome. What's the problem? Qin Mo asked. Isn't this auction supposed to be won by the highest bidder? As long as there was money, there was no need to worry about not being able to win the bid. Sima Yuyue pointed twice on the list and said, these herbs are quite rare. I'm already surprised that so many of them have appeared this time. The first few are still okay, but the last two are being auctioned together. What's different is that they don't have a base price. Hearing her say this, the two of them looked over. Sure enough, they saw that the other items had a base price, but some of the items at the back didn't. This kind of list was only available to those who were highly valued by the Xianyuan Pavilion. Others only had the name of the auction item, but they had the introduction and the base price. Usually, when they saw something they needed, they would use the base price to estimate the transaction price and then prepare their own money. No one knew the extent of the Xianyuan Pavilion's influence because it had spread across almost the entire world. The lower continents, the outer and middle regions of the primordial lands, and some guessed that the inner regions should have its influence as well. Because they didn't know their trump cards, everyone respected this faction in their hearts. No one dared to provoke them. Therefore, everyone knew the rules of the Xianyuan Pavilion, especially for auctions. They had to settle the bill on the same night and could not lie about the price. Once they were discovered, they would be blacklisted by the Xianyuan Pavilion. The list in Sima Yoyue's hands was specially sent over by Jun Lan and the rest. There was a minimum price. However, there was no price tag on it, which made it more troublesome. Based on the previous auctions, some sellers would request an exchange of items. If they don't offer something satisfactory, the other party wouldn't be willing to make the exchange, Qin Mo said. Faced with such a situation, no one could do anything. They didn't know what the other party wanted, so they could only wait and see. After that, Sima Yuyue roughly calculated the base price of the items that she had her eyes on. She estimated that if she were to bid for these items, she would have to pay a sky-high price. She sighed. Yes, she had spent the crystals that she had mined from the spirit pagoda. She had also taken revenge from the Zhuo family. The Heavenly Tiger Hall and the innumerable Green Palace had given her some treasures as compensation, but there were no crystals. Seeing her frown, Wu Lingyu said, what the Divine Devil Valley doesn't lack the most is crystal stones. You're a junior valley master after all. Why are you still worrying about crystals? Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at him. I've never gone back. What does the Divine Devil Valley's money have to do with me? You're silly. Our Divine Devil Valley has many external businesses too. Wu Lingyu couldn't help but knock her on the forehead. Sima Yuyue covered her forehead and was stunned. She then remembered that the people in the Divine Devil Valley were all elites in various industries. Usually, they would sell alchemy, armament and engraving arrays. Those who were in charge of these things were called external businesses. The Divine Devil Valley was a power that could almost rival the Sage Pavilion. There was no need to talk about its power. The external businesses naturally didn't need to be mentioned. It would definitely shock her. Sima Yuyue was happy for a moment, but she calmed down and said, after all, these are the shared assets of the Divine Devil Valley. How can I touch everyone's assets for my own personal matters? Memory Restaurant was originally opened for you. It doesn't belong to the Qin family. We've earned quite a bit of money from the dishes that you've taught us. Those are all yours. Qin Mo said. Sima Yuyue still felt that it wasn't right. She felt that she had to have money first. After thinking about it, she could only sell some things herself. It was a good thing that she didn't lack these things. Since she wanted to do it, she did it. She chased the two of them out and went to the Spirit Pagoda herself. She picked a few that she liked and went to the Xianyuan Pavilion early in the morning the next day. Although it was her first time here, after she said that she was looking for Jun Lan, she was welcomed to the backyard. After waiting for about an hour, she saw Jun Lan rushing over. Behind her were a few guards who weren't weak. It seemed that the previous incident had made her more concerned about her own safety. She smiled as she entered. When she saw Sima Yue, she said apologetically, "I'm really sorry. I was just discussing the auction with a few managers. I'm really sorry for making you wait for so long." Sima Yue was talking to Shimin Feng. When they saw her enter, they stood up and cupped their hands, saying, "You're so busy, but you still took the time to come and see us. I'm already very grateful." Shimin Feng also cupped his hands towards Junlan, saying, "Yue said before that she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to see you today." In front of others, he also called her Yue. He only called her sister when they were close. How could that be? "I've already instructed that as long as you guys come, you must inform me. Have a seat." Junlan walked over and said. Sima Yue and Shimin Feng sat down, saying, "Since you're so pressed for time, I won't beat around the bush. Just tell me why I'm looking for you today. On the way here, I guessed that you must have come here for something." Junlan said, "Is there anything I can help you with?" "It's like this. I took a look at the name list that you had someone send over yesterday. There are a few medicinal ingredients that I urgently need." Sima Yue said, "Those medicinal ingredients aren't cheap, so I'm guessing that if I want to bid for them, I'll need a lot of money." So, if it was an ordinary person, Junlan would probably just ask someone to give her a portion of the crystals. But after interacting with her for a few days, she had some understanding of her character, so she waited for her to continue. "I haven't been here for long, so I don't have many crystals on me. So I was wondering if you could let me insert some items for the auction?" Sima Yue said a little embarrassedly. "That's not a problem." Junlan agreed. At times like this, the level of the items to be inserted can't be too low. "But I believe that this won't be too difficult for you. You should have brought the items, right?" Sima Yue took out the items that she had prepared last night and showed them to Junlan. Junlan looked at those items, then asked about the medicinal ingredients that Sima Yue had her eyes on. After taking a look, she said, "These are all pretty good, but they aren't particularly outstanding in this auction. If you're in urgent need of money, I have an idea." Chapter 5:11. Sima Yue looked at Junlan and asked, "Do you have any ideas? These things of yours are actually not of low quality, but they are not unique in this auction, so they might not be able to fetch a good price. If you can come up with a unique item, it might not necessarily be of a very high grade, but it can be auctioned off for a good price." Junlan had been supporting auctions for many years, so she gave her suggestion. "One of a kind." Sima Yue felt that what Junlan said made sense. She was thinking about what she had that was one of a kind. For example, the tendon and marrow cleansing pill that you auctioned in the West Moon Kingdom last time. Although the grade isn't high, even if it's placed in this auction, it will definitely fetch an extremely high price. Junlan said. "Tendon and marrow cleansing pill?" Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before realizing that she was talking about the 100 revolutions pills. "Junlan, if I were to take out 400 revolutions pills, how much would I be able to sell them for?" Junlan calculated in her heart. "If it's 4, it should be enough for you to buy half of the things." "Half?" Sima Yue gasped. He had taken so many things that were of a higher grade than the 100 revolutions pill, but they could not compare to 400 revolutions pills. "However, the last time we obtained the pill formula you gave us, we came back and looked for an alchemist to study it. Thinking that the golden snake fruit was hard to come by, we couldn't find it even after searching for a long time, so we planned to use other medicinal herbs with similar medicinal properties. However, we discovered that we couldn't refine it at all." Junlan thought of what happened after her family obtained the pill formula and couldn't help but say a few more words. The golden snake fruit is the most important ingredient for refining the 100 revolutions pill. Naturally, it can't be turned into other ingredients. Sima Yue said. "From what you said just now, you still have more tendon and marrow cleansing pills?" Junlan asked. "I once obtained a golden snake fruit by chance, and I can still refine a batch." Sima Yue replied, "Previously, I thought that the level of this pill was too low, so I did not prepare it beforehand." "Really?" Junlan became excited and said, "You really have more tendon and marrow cleansing pills? And you're willing to put it up for auction?" Sima Yue nodded. This 100 revolutions pill wasn't a challenge to her at all. Moreover, she still had the golden snake fruit in her spirit pagoda. She could just go back and refine a few of them. Seeing her nod, Junlan clapped her hands excitedly and said, "I won't hide it from you. Back then, us siblings were able to return early because of the pill formulas you gave us. We've already told you about this matter. But what you don't know is that because no one has been able to refine the tendon and marrow cleansing pill these past few years, the authenticity of the pill formula has been questioned. Because of this, us siblings have also been criticized by those in the family. If you can auction off the tendon and marrow cleansing pill, those people will have nothing to say. Then I'll go back and refine it later. I'll send the tendon and marrow cleansing pill back tomorrow," Sima Yue said. She could tell that Junlan's status in the Xianyuan pavilion wasn't low. She was also very capable. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to host such a large auction at such a young age. She felt that Junlan would definitely gain a foothold in the Xianyuan pavilion in the future. If she could help them now and build a good relationship with them, it might bring her benefits in the future. Then I'll get someone to take these things away. They'll be auctioned off for you during the auction," Junlan said. "Then I'll have to trouble you," Sima Yue replied. Junlan clapped her hands and a servant girl walked in. Junlan indicated for her to take these things away. Logically speaking, these auction items had to be appraised. However, Sima Yue believed that Junlan would handle this matter for her and wouldn't cheat her. "Other than this, there's something else I want to talk to you about." "Speak." Sima Yue pointed at the 3 medicinal ingredients on the list and said, "These 3 medicinal ingredients." Junlan understood her meaning at a glance and said, "These 3 medicinal ingredients were all brought by the same person. He said that he didn't want to auction them off. He only wanted to exchange them for something." "Then did he say what he wanted to exchange them for?" Sima Yue asked anxiously. Junlan shook her head. "He didn't say anything. He only said that he would state his request during the auction." "Oh." Sima Yue was a little disappointed. Originally, she was wondering if she could find out the other party's request in advance. Now, it seemed impossible. "Since that's the case, then we'll head back first. We'll send the pills over tomorrow. I'll send you off." At the entrance of Xianyuan Pavilion, Junlan looked at the backs of Sima Yue and instructed the person beside her, "Pass down the order. Immediately spread the news of the tendon cleansing pill. Young miss, we haven't seen the tendon cleansing pill yet. If we announce it now, what if that young master didn't bring the pill?" The guard beside her questioned. "No, I trust him," Junlan said. "Besides, he values those medicinal ingredients very much. Now that he's short of money, auctioning the tendon cleansing pill was a very quick way to earn money for her." Seeing that their young miss had made up her mind, the person beside her could only do as she said and spread the news of the tendon cleansing pill. However, they did it in secret. They didn't let the people from Xianyuan Pavilion spread the news directly. Instead, they spread it in a roundabout way. The news of the tendon cleansing pill's appearance immediately caused an uproar in Feng City. Because it wasn't long before the auction started, many people from various powers had already arrived. When they heard the news of the tendon cleansing pill, although they were a little suspicious, many powers still ordered people to gather some money, just in case. The tendon cleansing pill hadn't appeared in the primordial lands for a long time. This pill's grade wasn't high, but it was a pill that attracted the attention of the entire primordial lands. This was because it was related to the future of a sect. If the younger generation could have this pill to cleanse their tendons, cleanse their marrow, and improve their physique, wouldn't the geniuses be even more geniuses? Hence, people from various powers all sent people to gather money. They all had the intention of keeping the tendon cleansing pill in their pockets. Even Kong Sangyi was the same. She had something to do in the day and left for a while. She didn't think that when she came back, she would hear about the tendon and marrow cleansing pill. She excitedly grabbed Sima Yu's hand and said, "It's really the tendon and marrow cleansing pill. If the Kong Valley can get it, that would be great." "No, I have to get people to prepare the crystal stones. I don't know if 1,000,000 middle-grade crystal stones will be enough." When Sima Yue heard what she said, she stared at her with wide eyes. Seeing that she was really going to get people to gather the crystal stones, she quickly pulled her back and smiled. "I left a few for you guys. You don't have to go over there and fight with others." Kong Sangyi didn't react for a moment. It was Shimin Feng who said from the side, "Sister has already refined the pill. She left 2 for you." Kong Sangyi finally understood and looked at Sima Yue in shock. "That tendon cleansing pill was refined by you?" Sima Yue smiled and nodded. "Aya, my god." Kong Sangyi placed her hands in front of her chest. She was shocked, but then she smiled happily. "Yue, you really left 2 for me?" Chapter 5:12. Sima Yue took out a jade bottle and placed it in her hand. "Here, this is for you." Kong Sangyi looked at the jade bottle and opened it impatiently. He opened his mouth wide when he saw the golden pill inside. "Yue, is this the tendon and marrow cleansing pill? Why are there so many?" "Feng said that you have a younger brother. His talent isn't very good, so you worry a lot about him. He's still young, so this should be useful for him." Kong Sangyi had originally planned to bid for 2 tendon cleansing pills for his younger brother. Her talent was still alright, and even if she didn't have it, it wouldn't matter. However, her younger brother was injured in the womb, so his talent wasn't very good. She had been thinking of ways to improve his physique, and the best way was to get a tendon and marrow cleansing pill. However, she hadn't been able to find one in the past. When she heard the news today, she was overjoyed. Just as she was about to give it her all, she didn't expect that Yue had already left her 4 pills. "Thank you, Yue." The corners of her eyes were a little wet. "What are you thanking me for?" Sima Yue said, "I haven't thanked you for saving Feng's life." Kong Sangyi looked at Shimin Feng shyly. She gripped the jade bottle tightly and said, "There's still some time before the auction. I'll go back first." "Go." Sima Yue knew from Shimin Feng that she had a good relationship with her brother. Now that she got this, she naturally wanted to go back as soon as possible. 2 per person is enough. It's useless to eat more. "Got it." Kong Sangyi nodded. If Yue hadn't said anything, she would have given him all 4 pills. "Feng, go back with Xiang Yi," Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng looked at her, then looked at Kong Sangyi and nodded. "Then let's go now, and see if we can rush back before the auction," Kong Sangyi said, and anxiously pulled Shimin Feng's hand and left. Sima Yue knew that they must have their own way to go back, so she let them leave. Third Mo didn't say anything the entire time. After they left, he leaned back in his chair and looked at Yue, saying, "I really didn't expect you to be able to refine the tendon and marrow cleansing pill. It's indeed surprising." Qin Mo said. "This tendon and marrow cleansing pill is extremely rare. Last time, I remember that someone from the outer area bought one and even spent a sky-high price for it. However, this is the first time in nearly 1,000 years." Wu Lingyu often traveled to various places, so he was quite well informed. Sima Yue naturally knew about the appearance of the tendon and marrow cleansing pill last time because Bei Gong Tang had said that the Bei Gong clan had bought it and given it to Bei Gong heir. Thinking of Bei Gong Tang, she wondered how they were doing right now. There was less than a month left until the auction. He wondered if they had arrived yet. She had originally planned to use this period of time to help Shimin Feng recuperate, but now that he wasn't around, she could only make other plans. After that, she went to Xianyuan Pavilion and gave the tendon and marrow cleansing pill to Junlan. Junlan saw the tendon and marrow cleansing pill and was extremely excited. When Yue left, she hurriedly called for a meeting with the manager. As the time of the auction drew closer, the memory restaurant that Sima Yue and the others stayed in was already full. However, the people who stayed in knew that there was an independent courtyard at the back that was always empty. The courtyard that was originally able to house 20 to 30 people was now only occupied by 4 people. Some people saw that the courtyard was quiet and the scenery wasn't bad, so they wanted to stay there. However, the manager said that the courtyard wasn't open to the public, so they couldn't stay there. Even some people with prominent statuses were rebuffed when they went there. On this day, someone found the manager again and requested to stay in the courtyard at the back. Relying on the fact that they were from the inner area, they were extremely arrogant. Young Master Zhongzheng, that courtyard has already been reserved by someone. It can't be open to the public. I'm really sorry. The manager smiled apologetically. If it's reserved, doesn't that mean no one is staying there? Give that courtyard to us. A man with inverted triangular eyes, Zhongzheng Lu, said overbearingly. Young Master Zhongzheng, I really can't. The manager smiled and said, but he was impatient in his heart. Can't? Do you know what kind of power my Zhongzheng clan has? We're already giving you face by being willing to stay here. You actually dare to say no to us? An inn in the outer area dares to say no to us? You must have eaten a leopard's guts. Do you believe that I'll tear this place down? I'd like to see how you'll tear this place down. Qin Mo's cold voice came from behind, scaring Zhongzheng Lu so much that his body froze. Zhongzheng Lu turned around and looked at the person who walked out from the backyard. He smiled and said, Young Master Qin, why are you here? This is my inn. What's so strange about me being here? Qin Mo glanced at Zhongzheng Lu indifferently. When the time comes, you'll shout that you'll tear down my inn. What's the meaning of that? Zhongzheng Lu broke out in cold sweat after being glanced at by him and said, I'm just joking. After speaking, he left without waiting for Qin Mo's reply. When he turned around, he felt a cold gaze on him. He thought that it was Qin Mo and was so scared that he quickly left. Qin Mo saw the hatred in Sima Yoyue's eyes and patted her on the shoulder. Sima Yoyue retracted her gaze and clenched her fists tightly. She said softly, I must kill him. All right, but not now. Qin Mo said, the Zhongzheng clan sent an elder this time. His strength is about to break through to the monarch rank. If we make a move now, we might not be able to gain any benefits. Sima Yoyue nodded her head, indicating that she understood. In fact, the Zhongzheng clan had already sent people over, but those people were killed by Shimen Feng on the way. This time, they sent the clan elder over again. On one hand, it was to participate in this auction, and on the other hand, it was to find the murderer who killed them. They weren't close to the people who were killed, but the Zhongzheng clan's reputation was very important. If they didn't ask about their own clan members who were killed, then anyone could bully them in the future. Sima Yoyue knew Zhongzheng Lu before because she had a good relationship with Zhongzheng Hanyu. Both of their names had the word Yu in it. They were also more talented in their age group. In addition, the two clans had a good relationship and were close to each other. Hence, she often went to the Zhongzheng clan to chat with Zhongzheng Hanyu and discuss cultivation experiences. Hence, she knew many people from the Zhongzheng clan. How is Zhongzheng Hanyu now? Qin Mo glanced at Wu Lingyu and said, she entered the Sage Pavilion in the Southern Desolation. She has gained the favor of the Sage Pavilion Master and her status is not low. Sima Yoyue sneered, it has always been her dream to enter the Sage Pavilion. Now, her dream has finally come true. The Sage Pavilion really has a deep history. Zhongzheng Hanyu, who killed her, entered the Sage Pavilion. Nalan Lan, who wanted to kill her, also entered the Sage Pavilion. She had to say that she would probably fight to the death with the Sage Pavilion in this lifetime. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but glare at Wu Lingyu. Wu Lingyu looked back at her with grievance. This had nothing to do with her. She was implicated again. Chapter 513. Sima Yoyue saw Wu Lingyu's aggrieved look and knew that this matter had nothing to do with him. He himself was that old bastard's pawn and could be considered a victim. Moreover, his heart was with the divine Devil Valley and he had never helped the Sage Pavilion. But thinking about it, because of the Sage Pavilion, they didn't dare to touch the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace, so she still had some resentment in her heart. Wu Lingyu sighed in his heart. It seemed that he had to settle the matter with the Sage Pavilion as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would always be implicated. If this girl really blamed him one day, then the gains would not make up for the losses. At this time, a group of people came in from outside and shouted to the shopkeeper, "Shopkeeper, do you still have rooms here?" "Sir, I'm sorry, but we don't have any empty rooms here," the shopkeeper said. Third Mo and Qin Mo happened to be standing in front of Sima Yuyue and the rest, blocking Sima Yuyue and the rest. Hearing the familiar voices, she walked out from Third Mo's side and said with a smile, "If you guys didn't come, I would have gone to look for you guys." "Yuyue, you're really here." When Fatty Chu saw Sima Yuyue, he smiled and said, "Yu Lin said that you definitely lived here and told us to come here. I didn't think that you would really be here." "That's right. It's a pity that there are no more rooms here," Wei Ziqi said. "Of course there are rooms," Sima Yuyue said. "I knew that you guys would come, so I prepared the rooms for you guys. Why don't you go and ask if there are any vacant inns in the city?" "Huh, then I really have to thank you." Fatty Chu smiled and said, "When we came here just now, we heard someone say that after asking around, there were no more rooms in many inns." Sima Yuyue smiled and shook her head. She came to Sima Lai's side and said, "Grandfather, you guys follow me to the back." As she spoke, she led everyone to the courtyard at the back. Seeing the small courtyard, everyone sighed. "Yuyue, how did you manage to stay in this courtyard?" Sima Yuyue looked at Qin Mo and said, "This is Qin Mo. He's my good friend. This is his property. That's why I can keep such a good place." She then pointed at Third Mo and said, "This is Third Mo. I call him Shameless Third. He's also my friend." Everyone cupped their hands at the two of them. "This is my grandfather, big brother, second brother." Sima Yuyue introduced Sima Lai and the others. Qin Mo and Mo San nodded politely to the crowd. "Yuyue, since your friends are here, you should have a good gathering with them. Third Mo, Lingyu and I will go for a drink." Qin Mo knew that Sima Yuyue would definitely want to have a good gathering with them. "All right. Go ahead." The three of them left. She didn't know why Wu Lingyu was on such good terms with them. Previously, they were even secretly competing with each other. However, she didn't understand the world of men and was too lazy to ask. She pulled everyone to the hall to chat. "Yuyue, those two look extraordinary. They're definitely not ordinary people, right?" Fatty Chu asked curiously. Sima Yuyue glanced at Sima Lai and the others. At that time, when she was talking to Bei Gong Tang and the others about her past life, she intentionally let the people in the spirit pagoda hear it. That was why they knew that she wasn't the real Sima Yuyue. She was just a lonely soul that borrowed her body to live on. However, Sima Yuran told her that no matter what, they already treated her as Sima Yuyue. She was their family. She was the real Sima Yuyue. "They are all friends that I used to know. They are all from the inner regions," Sima Yuyue said. "Fifth bro, in the past." Sima Yulu looked at Sima Yuyue and stopped. "Fourth bro." Sima Yuran glared at Sima Yulu. Sima Yuyue smiled. She didn't mind and said, "Fourth bro, do you want to ask about my past?" "Fifth bro, ignore him," Sima Yuchi said. "It's okay." Sima Yuyue knew that they were afraid to talk about her sad past. After all, they were frightened when she advanced to the divine rank. However, they were also her family and friends. It was okay to talk to them. As a result, Sima Yuyue told them about her past life, including the strength of her enemies, as well as the powers and interests involved. Maybe it was because she had found Shiman Feng, or maybe it was because she had accepted the truth. When she talked about what happened, although she was sad and angry, she didn't break down like before. After listening to her story, everyone was shocked and distressed. It was no wonder that she had broken down so badly. It was a pity that her enemies were too powerful. With their current strength, they couldn't help her take revenge. At this time, Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi walked in. They were stunned when they saw the people in the house. Yue? Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. Dear Feng, they are the family and friends that I told you about. Sima Yue said with a smile. This is grandfather, this is, she introduced everyone to Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi. Hee, big bro, this big bro wants to call you big sis, but you have to call big bro Yu Chi and the others big bro Yu Chi and the others are younger than this big bro by a few hundred years. How are you going to address big bro Yu Chi and the others? Little Two snickered at the side. Speaking of this, Sima Yue was embarrassed. Shimin Feng wanted to call her big sis, but she had to call Sima Yu Chi and the others big bro Yu Chi and the others big bro Yu Chi and the others. This was really hard to address. Cough cough, let's address each other separately. Sima Lai said with a fake cough. Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yue and said, I'll call big sis grandfather. Brothers, you can just call us by our names. Sima Yuming said. Although he was Sima Yue's little bro, he was much more powerful than these little rookies. How could he take advantage of this? Sima Yue nodded as well, saying, you can call us by our names too. Okay. Shimin Feng nodded. The auction will start in 3 days. I thought that you wouldn't be able to make it back in time. I heard that your throat is almost healed. I'll give you a checkup later and give you some medicine. Sima Yue heard that Shimin Feng's throat wasn't as hoarse as it was at the beginning. It sounded a little like how it used to sound, so she guessed that it would be healed soon. Okay. Shimin Feng had always listened to his big sis. Although he had changed a lot over the years, his feelings for her were still the same. Sima Yue turned her gaze to Kong Sangyi and asked, how is your little bro now? He ate the tendon and marrow cleansing pill. His physique has been improved. Adding on the things that the valley gave him, he has changed a lot compared to before. I really have to thank you properly for this. My father said that you must go to the Kong Valley as a guest in the future. Kong Sangyi said with a face full of smiles. If there's a chance in the future, I'll definitely go. Sima Yue said with a smile, you guys should go and rest after rushing back. I'll show you the list of names for the auction later. Is there anything you want? If there is, you can plan ahead. Chapter 5:14. After that, everyone went to rest. The courtyard that Qin Mo had left for them was big enough, so they didn't feel crowded even with so many people. Sima Yue asked Shimin Feng to stay. After everyone left, she asked him to take off his mask. Not bad. The scars on his face are almost invisible. However, he wears a mask all year round, so it's still a little unnaturally white. Sima Yue looked at Shimin Feng's face with satisfaction. You should be able to fully recover after some time. Then you won't have to wear a mask all day. Shimin Feng didn't care whether he wore a mask or not. In the past, he had never thought that he would be able to recover his appearance and voice. He had already decided to wear the mask. After all, if the Zongjing clan and the Yin Yang Palace knew about it, he would be in a lot of trouble. Sister, this is for you. Shimin Feng took out a crystal card and handed it to her. Sima Yue took the crystal card and looked at it. She looked at him in surprise. Where did you get so much money? 1 million mid-grade crystal stones was not a small sum. Mother gave it to me before the accident. Shimin Feng said. Take it. Why are you giving it to me? Sima Yue returned the card to him. Naturally, it's for you to use at the auction. Shimin Feng didn't accept it. You want to buy so many things. Although that Junlan said that the tendon and marrow cleansing pill can be auctioned for a high price, it's always good to have more money. What's more, you're buying those medicinal herbs for me. I'm willing to fork out such a small amount of money. Are you going to stop me? Seeing Shimin Fang's insistence, Sima Yuyue could only accept the crystal card. You're right. We need more money. We can't just rely on the money given by the Xianyuan Pavilion. She said, we have to find ways to make more money. 2 days ago, Jun Tian came to find her and gave her 3 million mid-grade crystal stones. He said that he knew she was short of money, so he paid a portion of it in advance. If her items were more than this, he would compensate her. If it was less, the extra money would be considered as a loan. Sima Yuyue didn't agree at first because she didn't know how many of her items could be auctioned off. However, Jun Tian said that her items could only be auctioned off at a much higher price. Hence, she accepted it. Now, with the addition of Shimin Feng's 1 million, she had a total of 6 million mid-grade crystal stones, which was more than 10 times the base price of the things she had her eyes on. There were a lot of things this time. If other people didn't compete with her, the money should be enough. However, if other people also needed it and needed to bid, it was hard to say. No, I need to get more money. Sima Yuyue said, if I really can't, I can only borrow from Qin Mo and the rest. She had never liked borrowing money from others. This was a habit she had brought with her from Earth. However, if she didn't have much money at the start of the auction, then there was nothing she could do. Actually, isn't Third Mo here? Why don't you just ask him to take you to stone gambling? That is the fastest way to earn money. Shimin Feng said. Hearing his words, Sima Yuyue slapped her forehead and exclaimed, that's right. How could I have forgotten about that? Stone gambling, this term was not unfamiliar to her. In the past, when she was on Earth, she had seen stone gambling. However, at that time, other people gambled that the stones were filled with jade. But here, the stones were filled with rare spirit stones. When she was still Shimin Yuyue, she had also seen others stone gambling. However, at that time, she was completely an outsider. She had only followed them to see for herself. She had seen with her own eyes someone open a rare spirit stone from an ordinary stone and sell it for a sky-high price. At that time, she was an outsider watching the excitement. Now that she was going, she would be an expert watching the door. Do you want me to go find Third Mo? Shimin Feng saw that his sister was so excited and said with a smile. All right. Sima Yuyue also wanted to bring Third Mo along. After all, he was an expert in this area. However, she immediately stopped Shimin Feng and said, forget it, it's getting late. Let's go tomorrow. We can also bring grandfather and the rest to broaden their horizons. All right. Then I'll go talk to Third Mo first and ask if he has time. Go. Sima Yuyue saw that Shimin Feng left with his mask on and also got up to leave the hall. She sensed Bei Gong Tang's room and walked over to knock on the door. Bei Gong Tang opened the door and saw Sima Yuyue. She let her in. Are you done talking to your brother? Bei Gong Tang closed the door and sat beside her, asking. I just checked on his body. Sima Yuyue said. I really didn't expect that you would find your family member so quickly. This is indeed something to be happy about. Bei Gong Tang said. Yes, I'm really happy. I thought that he had already been killed. I didn't expect to see him again. It's just that his body is more troublesome. Sima Yuyue said. You'll find a way. I believe in you. Bei Gong Tang comforted. Sima Yuyue shook her head and said, to be honest, I really don't have a way to completely eradicate it. But there are still a few years. I'll definitely think of a way in this period of time. Why don't we ask your master and see if they have a way? Bei Gong Tang said, there are so many strange people in this world. There'll definitely be a way. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, oh right, why didn't your mother come with you? How are she and your brother? Is there any movement from the Bei Gong clan and the Earth Palace? Mother and brother are fine now. Because they were just rescued, they are resting in the clan these days. Bei Gong Tang said, but recently, the relationship between the Yin clan, Bei Gong clan and the Earth Palace has been tense. It can even be said that they are at daggers drawn. It's because of this that we came so late. They didn't do anything to the Yin clan, right? Not yet. Because the Goshawk King stayed in the Yin clan for 2 days, they didn't dare to do anything because of the relationship between the Yin clan and the Goshawk clan. Bei Gong Tang said. That's good. Sima Yuyue was originally not interested in these things. But since it involved the people around her, she hoped that the situation would be good. After that, the two of them chatted for a while. Then, she went to inform everyone that they were going to gamble on stones tomorrow. Anyone who was willing to go could go. Everyone came up from the lower continents. Naturally, they didn't know what gambling on stones was. But when they heard Sima Yuyue say that it was a gamble that could make a huge profit or bankrupt a family, they were all interested. They said that they would go with her tomorrow. When they heard that Sima Yuyue was going to gamble on stones the next day, Qin Mo and Third Mo said that they wanted to go with her. Needless to say, Wu Lingyu naturally wanted to go too. So on the morning of the second day, a group of people went out in a grandiose manner. There were groups of people everywhere on the streets. Most of them were from the same sect or the same clan. After walking for a while, Fatty Chu pointed at a luxuriously decorated door and said, "Stone Pavilion, Yuyue. This is the stone gambling place that the shopkeeper mentioned, right?" Chapter 5:15. Sima Yuyue looked up. The two words Stone Pavilion were bold and powerful, but the golden edges looked a little tacky. The Stone Pavilion should be here, Sima Lai said. When they came out in the morning, they asked the shopkeeper where the best raw stones were and where rare spirit stones were most likely to be found. The shopkeeper then introduced this place to them. That Stone Pavilion is the biggest stone gambling store here. The rate of raw stones produced there is the highest. Every few days, a high-grade rare spirit stone will appear. However, the price is not cheap. The other stone gambling stores are also not bad, but if you want to get good spirit stones, the Stone Pavilion is still better, the shopkeeper said. Thus, the group of people came here. The stone pavilions are not bad. I've been to a stone pavilion in the central region before. There, I found a spirit stone that was formed in the ancient times. Third Mo said. Let's go in then, Sima Yuyue said. Fatty Chu and the others excitedly followed him in. On the way here, they had already gained a better understanding of stone gambling. They also knew Third Mo's identity and were especially interested in this stone gambling. As soon as they entered, they saw that the whole room was filled with people. The shop assistants were already too busy. Some of the people who weren't greeted were looking at piles of stones by themselves. When they saw something they liked, they would pay for it and then take it to be cut. Sima Yuyue looked around and saw a group of people standing in a semicircle at the corner of the wall. That should be the place where the stones were cut. Wow, it's green. It's true. Master, please continue. I've only peeled off 2 pieces of the stone and it's already green. With such a big stone, the spirit stones inside must be huge. Young master really chose a good stone. The commotion in the stone opening area attracted a lot of people. Everyone wanted to see what kind of spirit stones would be found. Fatty Chu and the others also went to watch. Although they knew that there was a mine on the second floor of the spirit pagoda and had dug for crystals before, they had never seen such a scene before. Even Sima Lai could not help but take a look. Sima Yuyue, Wu Lingyu, and Third Mo didn't go. It wasn't their first time seeing such a situation. Plus, the place was filled with people, so they couldn't be bothered to squeeze with others. Not long after, another exclamation came from inside. Wow, this is the first time I've seen such a huge scenic cloud spirit stone. That's right, such a big scenic cloud spirit stone can definitely be sold for tens of thousands of mid-grade spirit stones. Young master, I'm willing to pay 50,000 mid-grade crystal stones for your spirit stone. What do you think? I'll pay 55,000. How about it? Go, go, go. Young master, I bid 70,000. Will you sell it to me? Go away, young master, I'm willing to pay. Fatty Chu and the rest were squeezed out by those agitated people. Seeing how crazy those people were, they hurriedly retreated. That's crazy. Sima Yulu exclaimed as he wiped the sweat off his forehead. It's like this. You'll get used to it after a few more times, Sima Yuyue said with a smile. In the end, the scenic cloud spirit stone was bought for 90,000 mid-grade crystal stones. On the other hand, the raw stone he bought was only 1,000 mid-grade crystal stones. The price difference was dozens of times higher. Come over and take a look. That scenic cloud spirit stone was chosen from here. A shop assistant called out when he saw that the people in front of him had all left. That pile of stones looked to be of a lower grade. With a casual glance, one could tell that it was difficult to get stones. However, the price was low. If they could get spirit stones, just like what happened just now, they would make a killing. As a result, everyone rushed towards the pile of stones. The originally cold and cheerless area became lively in an instant. Yu, are we going to buy stones as well? Fatty Chu said excitedly. Sima Yuyue knocked on Fatty Chu's head, saying, that pile of stones is filled with white stones. It's useless even if you go. White stones were the kind of stones that could not produce spirit stones at all. There were only white hua stones inside. That was why they were called white stones. Third Mo heard what she said and said, Yu, you've learned how to differentiate stones? I've learned a little bit. I'm not good at it. Otherwise, why would I let you help me choose? Sima Yuyue did not hide it. TSK, how do you know that those stones can't produce spirit stones? If you don't know, don't spout nonsense. The shop assistant heard what Sima Yuyue said and scolded. How can you say that? Sima Yulu saw that he was scolding Sima Yuyue and wanted to go forward to reason with him. Sima Yuyue pulled him back, saying, we're not here to quarrel. Let's go inside. The stones in the outermost room were of a lower grade and the price was lower. As they went in, the stones would get better and the chances of producing spirit stones would be higher. However, the price would also get higher. Most people would choose outside to try their luck. Those who had money would choose inside. They walked in from the main hall. It was not a room inside, but an open-air courtyard. Those spirit stones were piled up in 2s and 3s all over the courtyard. There were obviously fewer people here than outside. It did not feel crowded. Also, looking at the way they were dressed, it was not something those people outside could compare to. Yu, how much do you want to earn? Third Mo asked. Sima Yuyue blinked, not understanding what he meant. If you want to earn a few million, this place is fine. If you want to earn tens of millions, we can go to the back. Third Mo explained, this place is fine too, but the things inside are definitely better. Sima Yuyue looked around and said, let's choose here first. In any case, we still have 2 days. It's about the same when we choose. The prices here are not high. We can let everyone play together. That works too. We can play too. Fatty Chu's eyes shone. The average price here is below 50,000. I'll give you 2 million. You can play by yourselves. If there are spirit stones, you can keep them for yourself. You can also exchange them for spirit stones. After speaking, she took out 2 crystal cards. Each card had 1 million middle-ranked spirit stones. She left 3 million as a model for herself. She believed that with Third Mo around, she would definitely be able to earn a lot. Wow, we can play too. Fatty Chu and the rest took the money and went to choose, leaving Sima Yuyue, Wu Lingyu, Third Mo, and Qin Mo behind. Let's go. We'll go choose too. Sima Yuyue said. The 4 of them came to an area with fewer people. There were fewer bare stones here. They looked more ordinary and did not have obvious characteristics. However, the prices were a little high. Most people did not dare to lay their hands on them. They would choose those stones with more obvious characteristics. Don't choose the stones here. Yesterday, a few people chose a few stones here. None of them had good stones. A middle-aged man saw Sima Yuyue and the rest choosing stones and could not help but say a few words. He chose a bare stone and paid for it himself. Sima Yuyue looked at the shop assistant who just walked over and asked, was what he said true? The shop assistant did not hide and said, yesterday, it was not good here. There were only 2 watermelon stones. Chapter 5:16. Sima Yuyue knew about watermelon stones. It was shaped like a watermelon, but there were only a few spirit stones inside that looked like watermelon seeds. There wasn't much point in opening it because those watermelon seeds had no use at all. They weren't worth much either. Those that opened it were usually a huge loss. For more interesting articles, please visit. He didn't expect the shop assistant to be so honest and not hide this matter. She waved at him and said, we'll choose for ourselves. You can leave. She knew that these shop assistants would get a commission from selling the raw stones, so they worked very hard to promote their products to everyone. However, the most they could do was give some suggestions. They did not dare to make decisions for the customers. Otherwise, if the customers who opened the white stone were to blame them, they would be in trouble. Do you want to try, or do you want me to help you choose? Third Mo asked. Let me try first. Sima Yuyue looked at the stones and was eager to try. This was different from the ores in the spirit pagoda. She could sense the situation inside and directly open spirit stones. However, this was different. These ores had no connection to her, so she couldn't directly see the situation inside. However, she could use what she had learned from the book to see how far she had progressed. She squatted down and picked from the pile of stones. She touched one, looked at another, and finally chose an oval-shaped stone the size of a human head. Third Mo's eyes lit up when he saw the bare rock she chose, but he didn't say anything. The person who told him not to choose here had just finished paying the bill and was about to find someone to open the stone. When he turned around, he saw Sima Yuyue walking over with a bare stone. He suddenly cried out, "Hey, you brat, why did you choose a watermelon stone?" He regretted it after he shouted. Because of his voice, many people looked in his direction. He lowered his voice and said, I am sorry, but if you choose this, there will only be some watermelon seeds. It's not worth it. This stone costs 10,000 mid-grade crystal stones. Sima Yuyue did not expect to meet such a warm-hearted person here. Although he attracted a lot of attention, she was not angry. She said, it's okay. It's my first time choosing this. I'll take it as practice. After saying that, she smiled at the man and walked towards the counter by the small lake. That person saw that Sima Yuyue was insistent on her choice, so he didn't say anything. However, he didn't leave either. He hugged his own naked stone and followed behind Sima Yuyue. He wanted to see what kind of outcome she would have. Not only him, but many others also wanted to see Sima Yuyue make a fool of herself. Over the years, watching others open stones was also a form of entertainment. Sima Yuyue placed the bare stone on the table. The lady who was paying the bill was rather surprised when she saw that she had actually chosen a watermelon stone. Especially since she had heard someone warn her that this was a watermelon stone. She didn't expect that she would actually choose this. Young master, are you sure you want to buy this? The woman asked subconsciously. Sima Yuyue nodded and said, I'll take this. All right then. This stone is worth 18,000 mid-grade crystal stones. The woman said with a smile. Sima Yuyue took out her crystal card and transferred 18,000 yuan. The woman passed the card to her with both hands and asked with a smile, Young master, do you want to open the stone? Sima Yuyue nodded. The woman pointed at the place where the stones were being opened and said, You can go over there. All right. Sima Yuyue hugged the stone and went to the place where the stones were being opened. There were 2 stone opening masters there. Both of them were opening stones for others. Sima Yuyue hugged her stone and watched from the side. From time to time, she would talk to the 3 men beside her. Do you think the stone in his hand will come out? Third Mo used his elbow to nudge Sima Yuyue's arm and asked. Without waiting for Sima Yuyue to speak, the stone opening master had already started cutting. According to the man's request, he cut 1/3 of the stone. The small part that fell to the ground was white without any green. On the other hand, the larger ones had a faint hint of green in them. It's green. Everyone present exclaimed softly. They were not as loud as the people outside. The next cut will be from here. The owner of the stone gestured on the other side of the stone. Sima Yuyue looked at the stone and said, "What a pity, what's a pity?" Fatty Chu and the rest came over. They happened to hear what she said and asked. This stone looks like it will come out with a spirit stone. However, for some reason, there isn't anything good inside. Sima Yuyue explained softly to them. Really? Yes. Sima Yuyue nodded. She was very sure that this stone would only come out with a glass spirit stone. A glass spirit stone meant that it would only come out with a thin piece of spirit stone. Even if the quality of this spirit stone was good, it would not be worth much. The man who was squatting on the ground turned around and glared at Sima Yuyue. He did not say anything. However, the woman beside him scolded Sima Yuyue, "Don't speak if you don't know anything." Sima Yuyue did not expect that when everyone's attention was on the stone opening, there were still people who heard her speak. If they did not speak, then so be it. After all, this had nothing to do with her. However, just as Sima Yuyue said, that piece of stone that everyone was optimistic about at the beginning really only had a thin layer of spirit stones. The quality of the spirit stone was not bad. However, because it was too thin, it did not contain much spirit energy. Hence, it was not very useful. The owner of the stone was rather calm. He stood up and patted the stone fragments off his body. The woman beside him pulled a long face and was very unhappy. Next. The master in charge of opening the stone shouted. Sima Yuyue saw that no one else was going up. She walked over and placed the stone in her hand on the stone opening table. Watermelon stone? Everyone present laughed when they saw her stone. The woman from before laughed even louder. Seeing how calm she was, the stone opening master asked, "Young master, is this your first time gambling on stones?" Sima Yuyue nodded. In the past, she had always seen others gamble. This was really her first time. "Young master, have you heard of watermelon stone?" "I've heard of it," Sima Yuyue said, "but I want this one. I've already paid the money. I can't go back on my word." The stone opening master shook his head. He took the stone and touched it carefully for a while. "You want to open a Shio spirit stone with a watermelon head? You're really ignorant." The woman mocked. "Third sister, don't be rude." The man scolded. "It's true." Everyone told her that watermelon stone would not open a good stone. She didn't believe it and insisted on opening it. "I dare to bet that she won't open a good spirit stone. If she does, I'll write my name backwards," the woman said unhappily. "Young master, how do you plan to open it?" the stone opening master asked. "Master, wait a moment." Sima Yuyue stood up and looked at the woman. "You want to bet with me?" "That's right." The woman stepped forward and looked at Sima Yuyue with contempt. "If you open a good spirit stone, I'll give you double the price." Chapter 5:17. Third sister, don't cause trouble. The man who was with her scolded. Second brother, don't stop me. The woman looked at Sima Yuyue and said, "If you open up a rare spirit stone that is worth more than 20,000 middle-grade crystals, I, Hu Fei Fei, will give you double the price. If you can't open it, if you can't open it, if you can't open it, just give me 100,000 mid-grade crystal stones. All right. Sima Yuyue nodded. Both of them had reached an agreement. Third sister, how could you let him? Hu Ling wanted to stop her, but his sister was stubborn and would not even listen to him. However, he could not let her do as she pleased. Second brother, he didn't even refuse. What are you so anxious about? Hu Fangfang said with a smile. Since we've agreed, let's begin. When gambling on stones, there would be some gambling. This was very common, so no one was surprised. They just watched with interest, wanting to see who would win in the end. Young master, how do you want to open it? The master asked. Let's cut it from the middle. Sima Yuyue said. This. Young master, are you sure? The stone-cutting master asked. Normally, stones were cut bit by bit from one side, because most of the spirit stones were slightly slanted in the middle. If it was cut open from the middle, the spirit stones inside would be easily damaged. Once the spirit stone was damaged, the spirit energy contained within would leak out from the cut. It had to be used as soon as possible as it could not be stored for long. The value of these spirit stones would drop by a lot. It was rare to see someone like her, who requested to be cut directly from the middle. She said to open it from the middle, so we'll open it from the middle. Hu Fangfang smiled and said, anyway, this is a watermelon stone. It doesn't matter even if it's cut from the middle. The stone cutter felt that it was reasonable, so he followed Sima Yuyue's instructions and cut the stone in half. The stones on both sides fell to the ground, revealing the white Huahua stones. It really is a white stone. The onlookers were not surprised at all when they saw the white stone. When Hu Fangfang saw the white stone, she smiled proudly, making Fatty Chu and the others angry. What's the rush? Can't you see that the two of them are very calm? Wu Lingyu said lightly when he saw how angry they were. If Sima Yuyue was inexperienced in stone gambling for the first time, then Third Mo did not say anything from the beginning to the end. This meant that there was nothing wrong with the stone. How do you want to spend the next cut? The stone-cutting master picked up half of them and asked. Let me see. Sima Yuyue took the stone and looked at it. Then, she drew on it and said, follow this. All right. The stone cutter took it back and made another cut according to Sima Yuyue's instructions. When the stone was split in half, it was still a white stone. This is for polishing. Sima Yuyue picked up one of the pieces and said. There were different ways to open a stone, such as cutting, grinding, and so on. Generally, one would use the cutting method at the beginning. When one felt that a spirit stone would appear, one would choose the grinding method and slowly grind the surface of the stone. Not long after, a few peanut-sized spirit stones were ground out. They are indeed watermelon seeds. The onlookers said. How are these watermelon seeds? These are better than watermelon seeds. These are peanuts. Hu Fangfang said with a smile. Third sister. Hu Ling frowned and looked like he was about to get angry. Hu Fangfang stuck out her tongue and did not say anything. However, her gaze towards Sima Yuyue was filled with provocation. Sima Yuyue kept the few emerald green peanuts. Then, she gave the other half to the stone cutter and said, grind this too. Ha ha ha, are you trying to gather 20,000 spirit stones? Someone laughed and said. Sima Yuyue could not be bothered with them. After giving the other half to the stone cutter, she picked up the other half and examined it carefully. Let me open it for you. Third Mo walked over and said. All right. Sima Yuyue knew that Third Mo was not someone who spoke easily. Since he spoke, it meant that it was either difficult to open, or the thing inside had piqued his interest. Third Mo picked up the stone and placed it on the table. Then, he took out a small knife and used his hand to touch it. Then, he used the small knife to trace a pattern and gently cut off the surface of the stone. When everyone saw this, they realized that he was skilled. The surface of the stone was smooth as if it was cut off. It did not look like it was cut off with a small knife at all. Unknowingly, everyone's attention turned to him. Even the stone cutter stopped what he was doing and looked at Third Mo. Third Mo peeled off the outer layer of the stone. Soon, a stone the size of an adult's fist turned into a stone the size of a duck's egg. Third Mo glanced at Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue understood what he meant. She said excitedly, "It's coming out?" Third Mo nodded. He took out a piece of skin used for grinding and began to lightly grind the remaining surface of the stone. He used even strength on every part. Under his grinding, a spirit stone the size of an egg appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Third Mo took out a piece of cloth and gently wiped off the lime on the stone so that everyone could see the spirit stone more clearly. "Look, there's actually a golden core inside," someone exclaimed. "This is a stone in a stone. It really is a stone in a stone. The thing inside is golden and is the size of an egg. This grade is not low. A stone in a stone the size of a lychee is worth a few 100,000. This one is the size of an egg and has a golden core. This is worth at least 300 to 400,000. Hiss! Everyone present could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. They did not expect this thing to be so valuable. "Yuyue, take it." Third Mo placed the spirit stone in Sima Yuyue's hand. He was very happy that he was able to cut out such a spirit stone. Sima Yuyue received the spirit stone happily and even waved it at Hu Fangfang. "I'm really sorry, I won the bet this time. In a while, I'll get someone to appraise it for me." "Thank you, Miss Hu, for your generous bet. Master, help me grind out the rest of the spirit stone. Who knows, there might be a few more watermelon seeds." "No, there are peanuts." Hu Fangfang's face turned green with anger. Sima Yuyue was slapping her own face. However, in front of everyone, she could not do anything shameless. Very quickly, the rest of the spirit stones were all grinded out. There were a total of 5 watermelon seeds. Added together, they were worth about 1,000 middle-grade spirit stones. The stone pavilion had a professional appraiser who could accurately estimate the value of the spirit stones. Not long later, an old man with an immortal aura walked out from the back courtyard. He specially came to appraise Sima Yuyue. Such a large stone in a stone is indeed rare. Moreover, the quality is high. This old man felt a majestic power from the golden core. "From my experience, this stone in a stone in a stone is worth at least 350,000 middle-grade spirit stones." 350,000. Twice that would be 700,000. Hu Fangfang's heart ached when she thought of how she had lost 700,000 in one go. "Wait a minute, there are still these. Please appraise them together. At least we can gather some money." Sima Yuyue opened her hand. There were more than 10 spirit stones the size of watermelon seeds in her hand. When everyone saw that she really used the watermelon seeds to appraise them, they could not help but laugh. Chapter 518. Just now, they had said that she could only collect those watermelon seed-like spirit stones to make up the numbers. Unexpectedly, she really didn't do that now. The appraiser's beard trembled. There were already hundreds of thousands of stones, yet he was still looking at a few watermelon seeds. However, since the customer had requested it, he still took a closer look and said, "These spirit stones are too small, but the quality is not bad. The spiritual energy contained within is also not bad. If you add them up, they should be worth 2,000 mid-grade crystal stones." It was worth 2,000 mid-grade crystal stones, which was a far cry from the original price of 18,000. If he didn't get this stone, then he would have lost the bet. "Sorry to trouble you, master." Sima Yuyue put away the watermelon seeds and spirit stones, then said to Hu Fangfang, "Miss Hu, when you give, don't forget the 2,000 watermelon seeds." "No, you should give an extra 4,000. Hu Fangfang's face darkened. She angrily turned her face to the side. Hu Ling sighed when he saw the way his sister was behaving. He took out 2 crystal cards and placed them against each other before handing one of them to Sima Yuyue, saying, "This is 704,000. Please keep it well." Sima Yuyue kept the crystal card without hesitation. She had earned it herself. At the same time, she began to size up the siblings. They didn't even blink when they took out 700,000 mid-grade crystal stones. It was obvious that they were not ordinary people. They must have a great background. She didn't know how strong their forces were, but their financial resources were definitely not ordinary. Third sister, let's go back. If Big Brother doesn't see you when he comes later, he'll probably get angry, Hu Ling said. Hu Fangfang originally wanted to play for a while more, but when she heard the word Big Brother, she couldn't help but shrink her neck. If he knew that he had lost $700,000 in a bet with someone else, he would probably teach him a lesson. Only his second brother would protect him. Then let's go. She took her brother's arm and walked out with him. Seeing that they had left, the onlookers also dispersed. Fatty Chu and the others gathered around, wanting to see the stone in the stone. Sir, we would like to purchase this stone from you for 380,000 spirit stones, a man said as he walked over. Young master, don't listen to him. We'll pay 390,000. Young master, we bid 410,000. Sima Yuyue felt a little dizzy as she looked at the merchants surrounding her and listened to their chatter about selling things to her. 450,000 yuan. Give it to anyone who is willing to buy it, Sima Yuyue shouted when she saw that they stopped increasing the price after 420,000 yuan. They were silent for a while and felt that 450,000 was a bit expensive. It was 100,000 more than the estimated price. However, this stone was quite rare. In the end, some people gritted their teeth and purchased it. Sima Yuyue sold the stone and earned another 450,000 yuan. Together with the 700,000 yuan she won from the bet, she earned a total of 15 million yuan. On the other hand, she only spent 18,000 yuan to buy this. One could imagine how much profit she made. When Fatty Chu and the others saw that Sima Yuyue had opened a good stone, they also wanted to give it a try. Each of them went to choose 2 stones and spent a little more than 1 million. They didn't know how to choose a stone at all. They just chose based on their feelings. Some people got it, some got white stones. However, in the end, they managed to recoup their capital and even earned 100,000 middle-grade crystals. Their luck was quite good. Yuyue, how did you choose that watermelon stone? Qin Mo asked curiously. I actually just relied on my feelings. Sima Yuyue said, although I saw the outer appearance and knew that there were watermelon seeds inside, the outer layer of the stone on the other side was slightly smoother. That's why I boldly guessed that there might be something inside. What she didn't say was that if it wasn't for her divine sense being stronger than normal people, she wouldn't have been able to sense that slight difference. Not bad. You got such a good harvest in your first stone gambling. You're much better than me. Third Mo said. I earned 1 million yuan, but it's still not enough. Let's continue to choose. Sima Yuyue said. After that, she chose a few for herself and Third Mo helped her choose 2. They all had high-grade spirit stones in them. This made Sima Yuyue earn a lot. She got 10 million middle-grade crystals in her hands. Seeing Sima Yuyue smiling so happily, the people in the stone pavilion felt their hearts ache. Were they sure they weren't here to cause trouble? When Sima Yuyue and the others were opening the stones, the girl who paid the bill looked towards the corner of the courtyard. Then, she heard that there was another good stone. Her heart twitched again. The spirit stones that Sima Yuyue opened were sold for 500,000 middle-grade crystals. Seeing someone take out 500,000 without even blinking, she thought of the 10 million she earned before. She couldn't help but sigh. So there were more rich people in this world. She was in the poor class. However, after choosing stones again and again, her theory and practice quickly merged. Her accuracy in choosing stones was very high. Even Third Mo couldn't help but look at her in a new light. Just as Sima Yuyue chose another stone and was about to pay the bill, a handsome man wearing a water blue gown walked out from behind. Young master. The attendants in the stone pavilion bowed to the man. The man waved his hand and the attendants stood up. Young master, it's them. The attendants beside the man pointed at Sima Yue and the others. I was wondering who had the ability to scare my people like this. So it's Third Master Mo. The man cupped his hands towards Third Mo. Wu Lingyu and Qin Mo were talking with their backs to the crowd. When they heard someone mention Third Mo, the two turned around. When they saw who it was, they raised their eyebrows. There's also Your Highness Holy Son and young Master Qin. I apologize for my lack of manners. The blue-clothed man saw that it was Wu Lingyu and Qin Mo. He was shocked. Why were there so many important people here today? The others were stunned. They weren't familiar with Qin Mo, but Third Mo's name and Wu Lingyu's identity were well known. They weren't ordinary people. Liang Yu, why are you here? Third Mo didn't mind being recognized, but he was surprised to see him here. The Stone Pavilion was a shop opened by a power in the central region. Liang Yu could be considered as the person in charge of the Stone Pavilion. They had met before in the central region and could be considered acquaintances. Isn't there going to be an auction? That's why the clan sent me here to watch. Liang Yu said, Third Mo, why don't you choose the stones inside? How can the stones here catch your eye? I'm not choosing the stones this time. I'm here to accompany a friend. Third Mo looked at Sima Yue and said. Liang Yu looked at Sima Yue. How could a young man like him catch Third Mo's eye? Yue, look at you. You even alarmed the young master of the Stone Pavilion. Qin Mo teased. Yue. Liang Yu took a deep breath. Could it be that Yue from the destroyed Shiman clan? Chapter 5:19. Sima Yue had seen Liang Yu before. Seeing the shock on his face, she smiled and cupped her hands, saying, I am Sima Yue, greetings to young Master Liang. New Dagger Mystery Chinese Novel, Sima Yue. Liang Yu looked at Sima Yue's calm smile and then looked at her bone age. She was indeed a young person. He smiled and said, I didn't expect Third Master Mo to have such a young friend. It's Yue's first time gambling on stones. I found it interesting. I didn't expect to disturb young Master Liang. I'm really sorry. Sima Yue said politely. Of course not. This is how business is done. Liang Yu said, it's just that sometimes there will be people who come to challenge us. That's why the employees make such a big fuss. I apologize for disturbing Third Master Mo and everyone else. Young Master Liang, you're too polite. Third Mo and the others didn't know what to say to him. She was of a lower status, so she wouldn't lose face if she said that. Shameless Third, we've played enough for today. Why don't we go back? Your Highness, Third Master Mo, young Master Qin, since you're all here, why don't I be the host and treat you to a drink? Liang Yu said. Wu Lingyu and the other two all looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not have a good impression of this Liang Yu. Seeing that Sima Lai and the others were all looking at her, she smiled and walked over, saying, Grandfather, third brother, are you guys done playing? I've already played to my heart's content. Sima Lai said. Then we'll head back first. Sima Yue said, Senior brother, if you're going to drink, we'll head back first. Senior brother, is young Master Sima from the Sage Pavilion? Liang Yu asked. No. Sima Yue smiled. Senior brother, we'll head back first. We still have to prepare for the auction tomorrow, so we won't be drinking, Wu Lingyu said. I also need to prepare. I have something that I want, I must bid for it. Third Mo said, Liang Yu, let's drink next time. Goodbye. Sima Yue and the others also cupped their fists at Liang Yu before exiting the stone pavilion. When Liang Yu saw them leave, the smile on his face disappeared. He waved his hand and a guard walked over. Send someone to investigate that person's identity. He actually has 3 people accompanying him, and they are even Wu Lingyu's junior brothers. How come I didn't know that Wu Lingyu had a junior brother? Yes. That person immediately left. The servant beside Liang Yu came forward and said, "Young master, I once heard that the Demon Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley had accepted a disciple in the Yi-Lin continent. Could it be this person?" Divine Devil Valley. Liang Yu furrowed his brows. "I think there is such a person. He said that he is the other junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley." "Young master, I remember now. That person seems to be called Sima Yuyue. He came from the Yi-Lin continent." Another servant said. "I really didn't think that the Divine Devil Valley would actually let someone from the lower realm become the junior valley master." Liang Yu laughed coldly. "I really don't understand what the pavilion master is thinking. He actually let someone from the Divine Devil Valley become our holy son. So this stone pavilion was also a power that belonged to the Sage Pavilion. Nobody understands the pavilion master's intentions. The Divine Devil Valley and the Sage Pavilion have always been enemies, but he personally asked for Wu Lingyu to become the holy son. He even dotes on him and wants him to take over the Sage Pavilion. Let's see how long he can stay in this position." Liang Yu said, "Send someone to keep a close eye on their whereabouts." "Yes, young master." Sima Yuyue and the others came out of the stone pavilion. Thinking of the haze in Liang Yu's eyes, Third Mo was very happy and said, "If I knew that Liang Yu was here, I would have brought you to the innermost part and opened up some top-grade spirit stones to anger him to death. It's just that if he finds out about Yoyue's identity, will it bring trouble?" Qin Mo frowned. "What's there to be afraid of?" Wu Lingyu wasn't worried at all. The junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley will have to give way to anyone outside. Sima Yuyue nodded and said, "He knows the old Yuyue and knows that I used to be on good terms with you guys. I'm afraid that he will link it to me, so it's better to let him know about my identity. Moreover, even if I don't say it, I'm afraid that he will investigate. That Liang Yu looks like the Liang clan's young master, but he's actually a person without much ability. He just caught the eye of the Liang clan's patriarch. You don't have to worry about him." Third Mo said. Sima Yuyue nodded and smiled. "I earn 10 million in a day. Just thinking about it makes me happy. I can feel it. You're smiling so much that your eyes are almost squinting." Wu Lingyu looked at her and couldn't help but smile. Sima Yuyue didn't care that he was teasing her. She was extremely happy. She was even more interested in stone gambling. She was prepared to gamble for fun when she ran out of money in the future and earned some money to spend. Her beasts were all looking down on her in the spirit pagoda. When she first started refining pills, she thought that she could sell pills when she ran out of money. Later on, she had the same thought when she practiced arrays. Now that she came into contact with stone gambling, it was still the same. Why was their master so poor? But she didn't care about those looks of disdain. She was still thinking that stone gambling was a profitable business. She had to go back and study that spirit seeker and find the source properly. She had only learned some superficial knowledge, but she could already see the beginner's stone. If she could completely master that book, she might really become a spirit seeker emperor teacher. Thinking about this, she looked at Third Mo again. She was conflicted whether she should let him see that book or not. Thinking about how he actually gave up the wine that he loved for hundreds of years for her, and thinking about his feelings for her, she finally decided to give him a copy of the book. After she thought about it, she went back to the spirit pagoda. She rummaged through the cabinets and found a stone rubbing. She took out the book and placed it on the table. Then, as she read, she inserted a strand of divine sense into the stone rubbing. This stone rubbing was a type of jade that could record divine sense. The divine sense wouldn't dissipate after leaving the body for too long. She placed the stone rubbing on her forehead and flipped through the book page by page. There were some things that she still couldn't understand. But if she read it once and memorized it, Third Mo might understand the meaning when he saw it. After staying in the spirit pagoda for 3 days, she finally recorded a complete spirit seeker and find the source. Because she used up a lot of divine sense, she was a little tired after she finished. She ate some pills and rested for a while. Then, she took the things out. She knocked on Third Mo's door. Third Mo was a little surprised that she came alone. He thought that she was discussing the auction with Shiman Feng and the others. Sima Yuyue went in and asked him to close the door. She smiled and took out a stone rubbing and handed it to him. What are you giving me? Third Mo took it and looked. You'll know when you see it. Third Mo saw that she was being mysterious. He placed the stone rubbing on his forehead and looked at it. With just a glance, he froze and looked at her in shock. Chapter 520. How did you get this thing? Third Mo felt that this was the most shocking thing besides knowing that she was still alive. New Beach Chinese Network. I got it by chance, Sima Yue said. This is not the original. I spent a few days to copy it. Here you go. Give it to me. Third Mo was in disbelief. This was Soul Seeking the Source, a book that he had been searching for. Now, it was right in front of him. Of course it's for you. Why else would I show it to you? Sima Yue smiled. She found it funny when she saw Third Mo's dumbfounded look. This was the first time in her previous life that she had seen him like this. However, when something that he had been looking for suddenly appeared in front of him, even if it was him, he would be so excited that he would lose his sense of direction. Since you know that I've been looking for this, I won't stand on ceremony with you. Third Mo took the rubbing and patted Sima Yue's shoulder excitedly. Don't mention it. Sima Yue said, you helped me so much and earned 10 million mid-grade crystals in a day. Take this as my gift to you. Third Mo looked at Sima Yue and was overjoyed. Sima Yue did not disturb him. She stood up and said, since I've given you the things, I'll go back first. I know you want to see it, but you have to remember tomorrow's auction. Don't worry, I won't be late. Just call me when you're heading out. Third Mo said. All right. Once Sima Yue left, Third Mo immediately started studying the book. When she called him to attend the auction the next day, he was still immersed in it. The group of people walked towards the Shenyuan pavilion. Along the way, they noticed that many people were walking in the same direction. It seemed that they were all going to participate in the auction. Yue. On the way, Sima Yue heard someone calling her name. She turned around and saw Cho Xiaotian waving at her. There was a group of people beside him, and they didn't seem to be from the innumerable Green Palace. They should be from his sect in the Central State. Cho Xiaotian said a few words to the people around him and then squeezed through the crowd to Yue. He said, I knew you guys would definitely come to this auction. I really did see you guys. Of course we won't miss such a lively event. Sima Yue said. Have you settled Bei Gong's matters? Cho Xiaotian looked at Bei Gong Tang and asked. It's already been settled. Bei Gong Tang nodded at him. Senior brother, master wants you to hurry over. A girl walked over and glanced at Sima Yue and the rest arrogantly as she said to Cho Xiaotian. Cho Xiaotian smiled at Sima Yue and said, I'll look for you guys after the auction ends. Where do you live? Memory Restaurant. All right, I'll look for you when the time comes. Then I'll go over first. After Cho Xiaotian finished speaking, he cupped his fists towards them and left with the woman. Che, what's with the arrogance? Fatty Chu rolled his eyes at Cho Xiaotian's junior sister. He was very unhappy. All right, it's not like they have anything to do with us. Let's hurry over. Wei Ziqi said, there are too many people here. Many people don't have the qualifications to enter the auction, but they can listen to the news from outside. Wu Lingyu said. Are they trying to smell the meat even if they can't eat it? Ouyang Fei laughed. There are so many powers in the outer regions, and even some from the inner regions. I wonder how many people will participate this time. Sima Yue looked at the sea of people and felt a headache coming on. With so many people, there would be more people bidding, and the price of the items would naturally be higher than expected. Actually, there aren't as many people as you think. Wu Lingyu looked at her and frowned, saying, those who can come this time are all first and second-rate powers in the outer regions. Also, not everyone is here. Really? After all, this is an outer region auction. There aren't many people from the inner regions. Some from the other regions feel that it's too far, and some feel that there isn't anything that can attract them, so they won't come. Qin Mo said, so the number of people here isn't that special. Also, there are many similar items, so we can split the bidding. I don't care about the rest, as long as no one fights with me for the items that I choose. Sima Yue said. The items that she chose this time were too rare. If she really couldn't get them, then she didn't mind having a treasure-snatching segment after the auction. However, what worried her the most was the 2 types of herbs that she was going to barter for. If she couldn't get something that satisfied the other party, it would be troublesome later on. Let's go in first. Third Mo said. He also had something to bid for this time, but after Sima Yue gave him the stone rubbing, he wasn't as excited about the ore. They arrived at the entrance of Xian Yuan Pavilion and saw Qing Yuan from Innumerable Green Palace bringing people in. After the servant girl at the entrance saw their invitation, she brought them in. We're already considered early, but there are still so many people. God knows how long we'll have to queue for. Fatty Chu said as he saw the long queue. We don't have to queue. Sima Yue said, follow me. She brought them to a passage on the other side. There was almost no one here. Hello, please show us your invitation. The beautiful lady at the entrance smiled and said. Sima Yue took out the invitation that Jun Lan gave her. It was a different color from the ones that the others took out. The lady took the invitation and looked at it, then handed it back to her with both hands, saying, this is our VIP invitation. You can enter from our VIP passage. We have people who will bring you to your private room. Thank you. Sima Yue took the invitation. A servant girl walked over and brought them into the auction hall. They went to a private room on the 3rd floor. This private room was big enough that the 10 to 20 people didn't feel crowded at all. If you need anything, just pull on the rope by the wall. The servant girl said and left. This room was really big. There were 3 round tables inside and it wasn't crowded. It was probably prepared for people like them. What she didn't know was that Jun Lan had specially ordered people to prepare this room for them. Although the other rooms were big, they didn't have so many tables and chairs. It was just that Jun Lan knew that there would be many people coming with her, so she had specially arranged for the room to be decorated. The glass here was the same as the glass in the Yilin continent. You could see outside clearly from the inside, but you couldn't see inside from the outside. They sat in the room and could see everything outside. The entire auction hall could hold tens of thousands of people. Just the main hall below could hold 30 to 40,000 people, not to mention the private rooms on the other floors. Sima Yue's private room wasn't the most special. This was also what she had requested. It wasn't too conspicuous. As time passed, those people entered the auction venue one after another, and the entire venue became lively. Sima Yue looked around. The private rooms on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors were all lit up. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.